Episode 9. Man, it's super... this one, I feel like, went by super fast.
Feels like it.
It's the return of the Jedi.
It went by so fast, I feel like I missed like a third of it.
It's like you weren't even here.
I know.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
But next week is going to be the finale of this adventure, Broken Tusk Moon. So before we begin, thank you, Paizo, of course, for not only the book and literally the entire game that we're playing with it, but also, of course, for having us here on their channel, for sponsoring the Two Perception Show, helping us grow to better and greater things in the future. But now, we still have a journey to undertake. Last week, in the last couple of weeks, really, we have been exploring, starting from the ancestral lands of the Broken Tusks, on the run from a horde of burning mammoths, of following seemingly hell-bent on our destruction. You've transitioned from the regions we know well. What is this, like third grade?
Having a conversation in the middle of
We've transitioned
so I was asking him a question about
from the realms we know to these forgotten canyons between the peaks far out to the east of our grounds. We found a lot of things last week. We found Macau, a survivor of the burning mammoths who had been left behind out to die, lashed to a stone, just alone. We had a captive of one of the burning mammoths we sent back to bear a message for us, and we found some ancient, like, burial cairns, I guess, like a sepulcher of sorts, populated by a couple of
Reluctant whites, I guess.
strangely non-hostile undead.
Could you please go away? I'll have to kill you.
It's what I like to think a recycling center looks like. You walk in there and just no one wants to see you, and they just send you away for your own good.
You walk into a tomb bearing two millennia-old undead, still seemingly some degree of their minds, and the biggest problem we have is a particularly large armadillo squirrel thing. And by the biggest
hated
problem.
Birds.
It hated
Really
birds.
hated
That was
birds.
just a terrible mistake. But as we come back in today, we have traveled down a step away from this strange place. We found a weird map of sorts, some kind of a magical esoteric guide to the environs around.
It's just a mini map.
And
It's
the
best.
question before us was how to proceed. It's given us several directions as well as
Box.
a strange indication.
Box.
There's a box.
We gotta go get it. What's in the box?
I suspect it might be a metaphor, but it might not be that much of a metaphor. It could literally just be a box.
We're cats. That's a box. We gotta go.
We gotta go in there. What's
We
in there?
fits, we sits.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Sometimes not even.
you're
Still
the
sit
only thing
anyways.
that turns into it.
You are literally a leper.
So with the first day of our journeying here today, we just, I guess it doesn't super matter if you're moving due south or southeast, because either way,
Straight to box.
it's going to take you
Beeline.
3 days to travel in this area. As this marker that you had seen on the map before is sequestered deep within some more of these rolling foothills. And as they rise up to this mountain range that you can see out a little bit further to your east, these peaks are sheer and dramatic. These are further into the heart of this mountain range beyond the grandparents, where those you had wound around before were certainly unpassable for a following. These seem like they would be wholly unpassable even for just a small group such as yourselves. You can look up and see the upper reaches of these mountains, not even really seemingly that far above you, permanently bearing crests of snow, white sheets reflecting the sunlight during the day as you walk out until they meet the horizon far up above you. But that first day of travel, I believe, is the first day that the burning mammoths are finally going to start making any progress out of the valley where we left them some nice little presents behind before.
Because apparently I can only roll 20s on
It
those
did
rolls.
a very good job. It has certainly given you some distance, giving you the most breathing room you've really had in these canyons, and still giving you a bit of a distance around these northwestern mountains here. Still not really in line of sight, but you know they're still probably coming back there somewhere. You saw them on the strange map back at the cairns.
The map said so.
That evening at back at the camp, you would be approached by Farwander. I forgot her name for a second. By Farwander, your halfling companion that you had found. I was going to say rescued, but she came pre-rescued, really.
Yeah.
That you had aided
The best kind of NPC.
down
Just
near
approached by Jen.
the riverbed.
Pre-rescue.
Bringing you into the small pup tent that was still containing Macau. Your mammoth lords
See?
still not really wanting Macau to be a visible presence among the following camp, because regardless of what his intentions may be, he is still a burning mammoth.
I don't think you could tell at this point.
It is
He's a burned mammoth.
a burned
Yeah.
mammoth
He's a very
now.
bird mammoth.
It's
doesn't
been
have
some time. It's been about a week. While he is still probably spending most of his day horizontal, he is going to look markedly better. Certain areas of his body that were burnt and scarred worse, obviously going to take much longer to heal, but some of the periphery around this has started to pull together, has started to leave itself that nice, fresh, bright pink. And clothed up, wrapped up with some simple leather gowns, he looks a degree of presentable. But as Farwander brings you into his tent, he cracks a bit of a smile. I have been working with Miss Farwander here. I want to think of ways that I could be of aid, that I could help you and your people. And knowledge is truly all I believe I have left of value. He sort of gestures down to a small bundle drawn about in a wrapping of fur next to the bed, and Farwander perks up. Oh, right. And she unties it. She reveals a small pile of about a half dozen little cladded leather, kind of like lumpy baseballs, with some thick reddish straps sort of drawn around them. They look like they're bulging from the inside pressure, and they have a small, almost spout at the top with a little length of hempen string spindling out of them. These are, well, they're fundamentally quite simple, I suppose, but interesting little concoctions, and in her tiny little hands they are fairly large little wads. It's something that the burning mammoths had apparently developed for warfare. It didn't work particularly well against the demons, but it's terribly efficient against people.
Maybe that's why they're burning?
Oh,
Well-
that looks like the things that they were throwing at Amka. They threw some at you, and they threw some at Verja.
Yeah, they
Well,
burned.
More like punched me with it. But
Oh, you've seen them.
yeah.
They're very simplistic little bombs filled with
What?
they're, I guess explosive's not really the right word. If you light this little string here and toss them, and this one, you know most of them, it's sort of tucked back in the bag. They've even got an interesting little bit of flint and steel tips on the end of it. The rest of these, you just simply yank out the string, one end pops, and it should already be burning. And then you just throw this. It's
Wandy,
and her face is not as excited as Macau's is. Macau's got like a big grin. He's like, I'm helping. She's like, this is horrible. It'll burst. And I suppose whatever you throw, that'll be caught about with flaming wads of fat and grease. It'll just keep burning.
Oh, that would be the...
They're effective. There's no doubt about that.
Wandy, they're just like movable, throwable snares that explode?
I don't know how much they're going to snare anything so much as
Set them on fire. And you can't get it all.
crudely.
I would
Yes.
like to point out like out of character. She thinks this is terrible. We actively throw vials of acid and alchemist fire at people on a regular basis. Not us, but like in the world of Galarian, that happens all the time.
That's also terrible.
I don't think your average person is resolving disputes with alchemist fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but like that is a very common.
They're a thing that exists for like
They commit war
fighting
crimes in the world.
monsters.
So why are we
Why
bothered?
is this one worse?
Yes.
I guess that's a line of thinking. War crimes exist, so why is this bad? I guess it's not as bad as the worst thing in the whole world, so it's fine. Okay. Anyway, she's kind of holding this here, and Macau nods.
Our people use them to great effect. They burst over an impressively large area. Many times you need not even hit directly for it to be effective, especially if you're dealing with anything particularly flammable or fearful of flame.
It could be really useful for animals. If they're getting ready to charge, we could lay some down in order to drive them away.
Hey, Hanwi, if we run into any more giant
The
turtles you want to
fuses
insult.
Are very quick. Yes. You really, they need to be thrown as they're drawn. The hemp burns quickly. I think even in an attempt to lay them on the ground, you would risk them bursting at your feet.
Oh, no, but maybe I didn't speak clearly. Well, if there was an upset animal over there, for example, and we threw it between the two of us, perhaps it wouldn't charge at us.
Or
That's
you
what I
could
was
just
thinking.
talk to it.
Oh, indeed.
You're being mean today.
Our hunters have used them for such purposes many times. They ward off all kinds of larger beasts and megafauna.
And what he has given you, between his explanation and what they're able to give you, is a pile of 6 moderate tallow bombs. They are, you have experienced the tallow bombs before briefly. They are,
Was it a moderate?
I think it was a lesser that you got
I
hit
was
with.
gonna say it didn't sound quite right. I wasn't immediately dying.
It was inconvenient.
Well, I mean, they are definitely a focus more on the persistent. These are more akin to an acid flask than an alchemist fire. The burst, they're not an explosive. There is basically 0 burst force. It is like a napalm water balloon is pretty much the way that they work. So the immediate damage that it does is nearly 0. Though it does have some splash, and it would certainly be effective against things that are weak to fire. The main draw is that it is difficult to remove, and should you hit the target, they will continue burning. And being a moderate tallow bombs, you do get a +1 to throw them.
Are they magic?
They don't appear to be. They're alchemical, I suppose. Macau here, as he was unable to himself, guided me in their creation. They're quite simple, really. There's almost remarkably so. I don't.
Fire on demand is very useful. We'll be grateful to have these, I'm sure.
And it's simple enough that near anybody can use them. You may have some difficulty, perhaps, of throwing them accurately. They are martial weapons, as bombs are. But really, it's, I suppose, continues to amaze. I don't mean to offend, but you and your people here, they accomplish an amazing amount with no access to libraries or machines or even hardly iron and steel as far as I can see. Like, solutions like this are frankly incredible.
A library, that's like the place you were telling us about with all the books, right?
Right, exactly. It's like a repository of knowledge.
Maybe if we had one, we wouldn't have had to. This wouldn't have been this information wouldn't have been lost to us. Although, Macau, thank you for letting us know.
He's got a smile on his face.
May only they aid you, despite our rituals and how many of my former kinsmen may appear. They are as wounded by flame as any other,
Hopefully,
and perhaps fear it even more so.
I was thinking about what they did to you. They did it when you questioned Barthen's leadership. He responded with this. It's It's a weak thing to do, and all it serves to do is strike weakness into his own people. They won't dare question him, even if he makes a foolish mistake. We could use it to our advantage.
He's a weak person. He couldn't do it here, and it always frustrated him that we were a group and we had to
For
make
his
decisions
faults.
together.
The champion is not a weak man. I have seen that myself.
But he foments weakness in those with him because he is terrified of not being the strongest.
This is more Chief Ivarsa's way. He delights in her methods. He does as she does.
Who was your chief before Ivarsa?
Letuo. Letuo was a wise and strong man. He was our shepherd when I was young. Ivarsa's command is a handful of winters old, perhaps. Maybe 8, maybe 10.
Hopefully it won't last too much longer than that before she brings ruin to the entirety of it.
She would see all of her people burn if yours did as well.
How sad.
Then perhaps we have brothers amongst them yet who we may save.
Maybe, are there any among them who would come to our side if we offered it?
It is doubtful. We were devoted. I have had days now to reflect on it, and it's near fanatical. Were it not for my experience with her champion and for your timely rescue, I would not have imagined questioning her leadership.
All they know is what they've told her, is what she's told them.
How many burning tusks, burning mammoths are there?
Hundreds upon hundreds.
How did you support so many where you were? How did you find enough food?
Our song singers used to tell us many tales of our history and our people, but it is a tradition that has changed, perhaps, in our march west.
And for whatever you would be willing to listen, he would tell you of their time further out to the east, closer to what we know as the World Wound, and the people of Ustalov. Or Ustalov as well, but Mendev was what I meant to say.
You get to choose vampires and werewolves or demons.
And the Burning Mammoths, when he was younger and before they marched back out west, they fought arm in arm with the Mendevian Crusaders.
Wow.
They were allies and they fought together. All who would take up arms would rise and fight against the demons pouring out of the World Wound. I mean, that was, you would take anything. What the Mendevian Crusaders thought of, I'm sure many of them believed allying with these barbarians. It was never spoken of. It was never even brought to light, whatever opinions they may have, because they were as much brothers as other members of the Burning Mammoths, and the Burning Mammoths were as much soldiers of the Crusade as their fellow paladins. Supplies were once no issue further out to the east. They had friends, they had wagons, they had caravans,
Okay.
they had reinforcements. Their journey west, however, he will tell you, has been difficult. There is a reason you are able to outpace the Burning Mammoth horde, and that in your time you have been able to stay at least some days' journey ahead of them, because they cannot move quickly. They are not terribly well organized nor greatly well supplied. They have difficulty with basics like food and skins, things to repair.
They also haven't been mobile for very long like we have. They're not used to that type of
They
travel
have
over this
spent
type of land.
generations fighting at the World Wound.
Okay.
They are trying to remember their ancient ways as much as you are here with these paths.
Interesting.
What was the reason for the burning mammoths to abandon their entire way of life to the east and come here searching for vengeance against us?
The war is over. The chasm has closed.
What?
We were victorious.
Wow.
With our brothers, we conquered the demons that threatened our lands. We beat them back to the hells from which they spewed. They darken the world no more.
It's closed?
Amazing.
The world still bears the scar, but the legions pour forth no longer.
Huh.
You question the strength of the champion, but it echoes that of the war chief, and she has seen victory over the legions of hell.
Well, gee. That's
Something to be respected.
something. That's,
It's awe-inspiring, really.
yeah. I don't even know what to say to that.
I give you this knowledge, what I can.
He points down to the pile of the tallow bombs, his arm not having full range of motion, but as he can.
Not that you can bring battle to them so that you may have a hope of defending yourself, if need be. They are potent weapons. Use them well.
And Farwander puts a hand up. Oh, yes, and with the knowledge of how to craft them, I can certainly put together some more, though the supplies to cobble together more of these, it's odd and specific bits of tallow and fats we need. Any more that I can string together on the field, I fear won't be quite as potent. This is really what we could make with what stocks we had. Your mammoth lords, Harik, seemed interested in them and saw fit to put a good amount of supply towards the creation of, well, this half dozen here. Any more that she makes will be minor tallow bombs rather than moderate, or lesser tallow bombs rather than moderate.
We'll I suppose put them to good use.
Yeah.
Lesser moderate or lesser minor?
Lesser moderate. There's not a minor on this
is
one.
healing.
It's like, yeah, it's minor, lesser, moderate, greater, major, I think is the full scale, but most things don't use all 5 steps. So I think you only get a minor if they use all 5.
Yeah,
So
healing
most
buffs
things,
use all 5.
yeah, most things I think start at lesser.
Eat.
So
I'll give me a lesson.
the following morning, you all can feel free to, I mean, there's 6 of these. You could certainly all take one of them, and then somebody could have a pair unless you want to pile them on
I
somebody.
think probably
They
the
are
people who
martial
should
weapons.
Throw them.
Yeah,
I think
a
we
little
just-
awkward for my little tiny hands.
Probably
Here,
2 apiece
Conwy.
for the
2 and
marshals.
2. For our big fighter men.
I can't.
I
throw
mean, I
things.
could make my own, but you don't.
Well, if you want them or not, it's
3
just
and
however you
3.
want to do with
I mean,
them.
I'll
3 and
take
3
it.
on arm.
Give it
Oh,
to
you get
him.
2? Okay.
That's what you just give it to him, and he just.
I'll just
And unfortunately,
2 of them.
I do not have item cards for these to give you. So for the purposes of simplicity, I will just tell you exactly what they do so you can just write it down.
3 and 3, got it.
I feel like
You have a +1 item bonus to attack rolls because they are lesser bombs.
Does 2 damage and 2d6 persistent.
2d4 persistent damage. 2d4 persistent damage and 2 splash damage.
That was a pretty good guess.
You were real close on
Yeah.
that one, actually.
what I feel like Verja's just gonna attach into his body and just go, hug me.
Moment of clarity.
I'm pretty sure you did get hit with a moderate. It's just 2d4. They don't like burn that hard.
Yeah, that didn't really feel
I'm
that
pretty
painful.
sure you did get hit with a moderate bomb. But as we go to the next morning's travel, Kaga, thank you for all those gifts.
Yeah.
20-foot range?
Yeah, that's just bombs.
Yes.
Bombs all have the same traits, which is thrown 20 foot and splash.
Yes.
And they're all martial. Over the next 2 days, you would be able to move the following up into these southern foothills towards this strange indicator that you had seen upon the map.
The box.
The box.
It's the box.
Now, surveying the land here is difficult because it is so sheer, it is so steep, and you have so many interweaving overlooks, crevasses, and canyons spread between tumultuous and difficult peaks. It is certainly not easygoing. And over those 2 days, the burning mammoths would advance another into and through this hex, continuing their journey south, trying to come back into view of the group of you. And as you arrive, Aram, for dealing with Verja and not going mad,
Thank you.
good job, survive. A hero point card from Handsome Ganker.
I appreciate you, handsome. Last ounce of strength to my last breath.
That was 2 days, to be a little further. You arrive in the area and find a suitable place for the following to camp. But while you had a small blind trade, a small indication of the emblem itself,
Yeah,
a
that's all you
small
know.
cave with a box in it was what the simplified icon looked like. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of small caves and crevasses in here.
You might need to reconnoiter.
You would almost certainly need to recognize. There's no
Yeah.
way that you could. There's no hope of you just stumbling into whatever this is. So
Today, you will be leading and I will be assisting. Because we keep doing it with different people every
You
time.
draw lots
am I
every
doing
time.
exactly?
Are you good at survival?
I am not trained in survival at all.
you good
Yeah,
at
who's
perception.
Better if Ojaz.
You can use perception too.
Oh, I could do perception, yes. Okay,
And I can
so
assist.
So give me assist
Oh,
first.
Yeah. Do I have to assist with perception?
You can assist with either.
Okay.
And thanks to Norse Foundry, as always, for these dice, these trays, this wonderful malachite
Keeping
that does
11,
beautiful
it doesn't make it worse.
beautiful things on our adventure here. They have been one of our longest time partners other than Paizo themselves. Huge fan of their dice. We got a discount code down there which works on everything site-wide. Super great.
I'm actually at the point that unless I roll a 1, I'm not critically.
So 11 does not critically fail. You don't make it worse.
18 altogether.
Ozaj with an 18
That's
then.
not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, leading the party looking through this a bit more mountainous terrain here, peeking around
We
and
have the
about.
box marked on the map. We know where it is.
You don't. Do you have the impression that you like have a map with
No.
you? Okay, yeah, like you have like the copy that you made, but this
yeah,
was like
it's-
across
What
a
are you talking
huge
about?
being-
stone wall. Yeah, okay.
you
I'm
talking
just
about? I am
making
the
sure
map.
there wasn't like a misunderstanding at a
No,
table level here.
I am the map.
He touched the stone, and then he has a little
Yeah,
square
a
in the
little
bottom
mini
left
map.
corner of his vision that
Yeah,
just
then
stays there
you
the whole
hit
time.
the back button, and
hut.
then you have an objective marker now. it's compass across the top of
I'll
your
do
vision.
Golden
Dead
trail on the
Space.
ground.
Not a
that he's
Ubisoft
following.
game. We don't have.
No, I'll do
But,
the Dead Space thing. I'll pull my hand out. And the trail
with-
goes out.
With a day of further searching as the burning mammoths continue their march southward here, you would be kind of rising up into these foothills. You would see reconnoitered, revealing all the hexes around you, that you are in a bit of a corner down here. The peaks to the east are beyond impassable, and the thickets of the forest to your south, as they start to kind of become a little more sparse, rise up into an equally solid encroaching wall to the south. It looks like the edge of what that carving displayed back at the Apiku is the edge of what is really viable in this direction. But you do find a particularly interesting little cavern. Cresting a foothill and getting a view of the area around, you see an opening into the side of one of these peaks, which is impressively similar to the very simple glyphs that it had displayed back on the map at the Apiku. And as soon as you make eyes with it, your perception check allowing you to find this high ground here through some of the trees and the dips, you're almost certain that's your destination. And a journey down to the cavern finds a space not massive. It does not tunnel back as a huge passage into the peak, but is a large enough shelter that, worst come to worst, the 5 of you could certainly be well protected from the elements within here. It looks like there was more than enough space even for a small campfire near the entryway. The cave itself arcing up about 6 feet high at its entrance, a little cramped, but not really shallowing until very near the back of it. Maybe like a 12-foot around area total. And inside, tucked in the back of this cavern, not buried within the stone, but hidden amongst some rubble in a small little crevice, is a rectangular footlocker. It's interesting. It's surprisingly well made. It looks to be carved of a nearly bleached white bone, about 1.5 feet long and maybe 8 inches deep and high. Sorry, not 1.5 feet, several feet long. It's like a full foot locker, like the foot of a bed. It's a pretty decently sized foot locker. It's like 3.5, 4 feet wide, and maybe about a foot deep and high. Soon to be carved as bleached bone and expertly fastened together with a combination of rawhide and tar and sap sealant around the edges of it. It has a small bit of fastened metal hinges on the back, as well as a simple diamond-shaped lock keyhole on its face, which would probably be something relatively interesting for the group of you. I say keyhole for the purposes of describing it to the players, but this is probably not something that any of you had ever easily seen before.
Finger and hole.
It is spectacularly smooth and carved, near perfectly rectangular, regardless of its bone construction.
Well then. Well, the first thing I'm definitely going to do is... It's very strange looking indeed. I'm going to first see if it's magic.
With your casting of Detect Magic, you would get a ping of magic in the cave, yes. I remembered how Detect Magic works this time. You get a ping, yes, there is magic in this cave.
How
Stick, finger, and
does
hole.
detect magic work?
Magic, yes, no, within 30 feet.
Yeah.
Do you not get more information the longer you cast it?
If you spend like 10 minutes trying to identify something that may or may not be magical, that's it. It's just ping, it's magic radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting it too, because my brain, we played so much first edition Pathfinder.
Oh,
and
that-
that's one of the hardest transitions
Once
for
you
me
get
is
to the
Detect
higher
Magic.
levels, like
and it
we're
does,
in
it does
AOS.
turn into
Yeah,
that.
like
Yeah.
Can you
AOS, but-
exclude things you already know are magical?
You can exclude things you already know are magical, but you can't exclude things you don't know about.
Well, the chest is certain. The chest or something around it is definitely magical. If I had more time to study it, I could probably figure out. What
Looking at the
exactly,
hole, it's
but-
far too small to put a finger in. Maybe the size of its top, a round hole about the size of a pencil with an even thinner, small little slot just below it. The face of this diamond metal plate on the front is inscribed with a spiral that makes that ends at the top of the keyhole. With some little flat triangular flashes coming out of it, almost looking like a comet whirling its way to the middle.
What about the thing that Farwander gave me? I'm going to focus up on it to see if I can make it bigger, because it
Use
made
your
the sky
spyglass
bigger.
like a magnifying glass.
It made the sky
Yeah.
bigger.
While Aram is doing that, it will make it big.
What exactly is it? I mean, it's a box, obviously, but
Can't open it.
Shh, I'm
Seems
trying
to
to.
be sealed.
I'm
Like,
trying to read the things on
Knock
it.
on it?
Yeah, as you knock on it,
Does it sound like
clearly sounds to be hollow. This bone casing is not. It's relatively thick. It seems sturdy and hefty,
Hey,
but
Varsh,
it is certainly hollow.
Can you pick it up?
Which I'm certain is something that you could do with some effort. It's like a
I mean,
4 foot long bone
I
case.
can help
It's
you with
pretty
half
big,
of it.
but bone's not particularly heavy, and whatever's inside it also does not seem to be extremely heavy. It's like moving furniture. It's unwieldy.
We could bring it back with us.
Maybe Farwander could look at
give
it.
me a second to pray over it. I can ask for guidance on this to see if it's even worth our time.
it's a box?
And it's pretty nifty
It was
looking.
on the map.
It is pretty
It's
nifty
got
missing,
metal.
but
It's got metal on the back of it, and it's got a metal patch on the front.
We are here and we haven't had lunch yet, so
I don't think you can eat it though.
you can't eat it, but we can eat what we brought with us. Rest for a little bit. Right?
Aram, do you want to roll me a perception check while you're spyglassing this little hole, you weird little cretin, you?
What? This is logic. This thing she gave me is magic,
No,
and it
I
makes stuff
can't
bigger.
argue with
What a
it.
surprise! The Rangers finding an excuse to do a perception check.
Womp.
17.
Looking at it, I mean, not really what a spyglass is for. It definitely makes it bigger, but like trying to use this on something point blank, it's extremely dark to look at in a cave. Even when like holding light up to it, the lens does not really, it doesn't really work that well. It just looks like fish-eyed and dim.
So what you're saying is I should have light. Hey, can we do some light in here while you're thinking?
Well, we should probably just drag it outside. The sun is plenty of light. Although I suppose Amka wanted to pray first.
Amka, can I
Ask
have
a
some
question
light?
first.
Okay.
I want to cast augury.
Augury box.
I want to augury
Wheel
and
it
ask the
well.
question of what will happen if we open this box?
Augury is the wheel or woe thing, right?
Yeah, will or woe thing. So
This is the
it's
basis level divination here.
basis level. Will or woe?
It's
open the
wheel,
box.
woe, or lie to me.
Or lie to me. Lie to me, please.
Okay.
I mean, no matter what he
Good or
says,
bad.
we believe it. Because, like, it's just a random box.
I mean,
You get nothing back from your augury.
Well,
And
if you want to take a minute to eat some food, I can try and study it.
worst case scenario, I can always break it open.
That's true.
You
but
certainly
I would-
can attempt to just force the box. It does not seem that thick.
That is true, but let's be smart about this for a while. Give me just a couple minutes to.
Kind of want Farwander to look at it.
But while you're auguring, though, you do get a small bit of information. Just whether this is not so much divine providence. You'd at least train in religion, I assume.
yes.
Yeah.
worst
Please.
cleric ever.
Please.
I have no choice.
Yeah,
about
you
to say.
literally can't be, right? Okay, fair. Or can't not be.
Yeah, it's
You
required.
would have heard enough to know that this symbol on the front of the box here is the seal of the Arbiter. It is another one of the deities, though your following is devoted largely to Sister Cinder. You know the Arbiter is another of the gods that has purview over the world as well, more specifically over the realm of the dead.
Oh, this. So the box is marked with the Arbiter's mark.
The arbiter's mark.
The Arbiter's mark?
Yes. The Arbiter's mark. The god
Arbiter's
has,
mark?
who has purview over the realm of the dead.
Oh, is this a small casket then?
Oh, maybe it's somebody's pet.
It's a lot of effort for a pet.
It's very long and narrow for
Somebody's pet giraffe.
how it is.
Somebody's
Like
pet
it
snake.
could be like a snake, like laid out held the tip,
be
I guess.
tortellini.
But it's tortellini is his
It
pet snake.
unfortunately could be a small child.
It is really like too long and not wide enough for that.
It might just be
It's very not like body shaped.
Okay.
So it's perhaps the seal is holding it closed.
If that's the case, why don't we
You
just
said there's a bit of magic on it, right?
Oh yes, either on it or in it. It could be.
easy way.
Well, we can.
If we don't know where the
study
magic
it.
is, and we take this box outside, and you detect magic again, then we know it's the box.
I mean,
As opposed to just a
That
random
does make
rock in the
sense.
cave.
That could be the cave. We don't know.
he
That's
has a
actually
point.
pretty
Wow.
big brain.
Virgin,
Wow.
That's like the smartest thing you've ever
He
said.
actually has a point.
That's
because,
actually pretty smart. Wow, okay.
because unless I get more time to
What if I
focus, I
move
won't be
the
able
box?
to pinpoint exactly
Let's
what
pick
is
the
magic.
box up.
Well, let's take it outside. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so I guess we pick out the box and take it outside.
Yeah, taking the box outside and casting a follow-up detect magic, you would be all but certain the magic or the box itself is in fact the source of the magic.
Okay, it is definitely
That's
the box.
actually pretty freaking smart. There you go.
It's not.
That or there's also something else magical out here. I mean, like that seems pretty
Well,
unlikely.
The friends.
Like every time I think about detect magic, I think back to the first time that we had to use detect magic and read aura with like the 1,500 trinkets,
That was in the tomb underneath the castle.
and it's just like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
what
we
if
go.
I just take this over there and try again?
Smart.
So then it looks like it might be this lock which is being held. You said if the Arbiter is sealing it, perhaps we can simply remove the seal, let the seasons turn and wash away and bring it to new. And moonlight will fall on the box, and spectral tides will be pulled out of the ground, washing over the box. And that's a dispel magic.
Okay. Make me. I mean, just make me a counteract check regardless, right?
Yup, counteract check. That's only a 14.
With a 14, as you feel your magic wash over this, you would certainly feel some pushback. A pushback from a significantly stronger force than that which you are able to conjure.
More than some petty trinket, this.
Can you put more magic into it?
Can we
Is that how that works?
just
No.
I
mean, I could
haven't
try
prepared
studying the
to
box.
try to force it. Maybe
try
maybe
to discern
tomorrow.
the magic?
Yeah, you that was what Ozash wanted to do. The two of
Yeah.
you could certainly sit down. One of you could aid the other You each, or you could both do it independently because you have two very different
Yeah.
magical traditions.
Yeah,
here.
I was about to say you're a cult and I'm
I'm
arcane.
divine, sir.
Or, I'm
So
sorry,
give me
divine,
your
sorry.
arcane check first. As you're kind of sitting down studying this, you can drag it out of the cave, but hauling this down from these foothills is going to be quite difficult. It's large and unwieldy. It's like carrying a couch down from the mountain. Like
Apparently, I'm too concerned with my own studies that I don't remember much, so I got a 9 on.
with a 9, this is clearly like a divine and religious source of magical origin here. This is nothing like
nothing.
what you'd studied. There's no runes. There's nothing. This is just
I literally just tap.
Is this where we figure out that it's actually?
I literally
arcane?
just tap Anka on the shoulder. I'm like, this is all you.
27.
the 27.
Rolled 18 on the die.
I'm gonna tell you something that literally beats the DC by 1.
Hey.
Whoa.
Oh, I've heard about this. Just barely.
That's it's 26
Whoa.
is the DC on this, so
I'm
it's
trying my hardest.
a little potent. You feel that within, not so much specifically the seal or the lock itself, but within the case as a whole, there is a ward placed over it. A ward that is divine in nature, is something akin to the kind of magic that you can call, but one that has been woven and installed by either a very powerful conjurer or several of them. It is something that will be near impossible to dispel directly, but due to its divine nature, you could attempt to counteract either with like an extensive religious connection, you need to be at least an expert in religion, or via appropriate rituals, at least trained in performance.
Huh. Performance, you say?
Oh, I relay all that, and I'm not attuned that well to religion, to that of divine magics as of yet. Would we know the extensive ritual or pieces of it?
You would know enough, with you at 27, you would know enough about the Arbiter and feel the link of divinity there that you would recall enough about the Arbiter and the Arbiter's worship and their general like feasance that you could guide anybody here in a proper ritual. But it is a degree of specific, and it would need to be performed well enough to kind of sever this link
Got to cha-cha real smooth.
very smoothly.
I have a question for you, Anka. You say ritual. Is there happen to be a religious chant or song or hymn that might be part of said ritual to open this, maybe? Because I could probably help you with that.
It is. It's hard to explain. It's more of acting out the rites of the dead as if you are talking and dancing with the spirits around you. I can chant the rites that I know of. I don't know them very well, but it's more of the mere act of allowing the departed to go on one last dance, one last hunt, whatever you envision with the loved one at hand.
Well, with my singing experience, if you guide me, I can try to perform the ritual as best as my capabilities and see if we can figure it out together.
Well, if the others don't mind a little show of, well, off the top of my head.
Oh, that's fine. I'll sit over here and watch.
Put that D20 down, good sir. Put that D20 down, good sir.
Hidden check.
Put that D20 down, good sir. Is you?
I thought you meant like put it down.
As Amka guides you through this rituals here, you are taken through several steps of this, again, kind of respectful, almost, seance isn't the right word necessarily, but like a send-off for a departed spirit or souls, the acceptance of the Arbiter and their judgment over all things. You do your best. You don't know if it worked or not. You did your best. We'll roll it when it matters. But that still leaves you with a very locked box in front of you.
I really need to talk to others who know of the other gods.
I don't know. Like, if this is the god of death,
The box is not dead.
well, yeah, but
It's a box.
I had no ill tidings of the box. Sister Cinder did not tell me that it is harmful. Or is it a good?
That sounds an awful lot like it's time to open the box.
The seal comes off. We could use this knife that was given to us by that lovely stranger and see if we can't get the tar out of the crack.
I got this.
You'll damage what's inside it.
It's a box.
why don't we take
I
it
don't
back?
understand how that answers my
This opens the
concerns.
box.
Why don't we take it back to the elders and ask them?
It's a long way away.
I think it would actually be easier to bring whoever you want to be back up here.
We could just open the box and take whatever's inside to the people we want to give it to.
But what if it curses us forever?
Oh,
Ozash put on a very convincing performance.
Peak Pathfinder, 25 minutes of deliberating
All right,
over a
well,
box.
I,
This is it. This is the content.
If we're gonna open it, then let me do it at least. Everybody back up.
I feel like are you strong enough to open the box?
Well,
think Verja would actually be the best one to smash open the box. But yes.
I'm not gonna smash it
especially
open.
given that he has this. Oh, you have a giant hammer now, don't you?
Yeah, I would like to cut it
Box
open
with
with this
box.
sword, that's more specific and sharp, and may actually get through it without harming what is inside.
And Ozash, you have an axe, right?
Yes.
Oh, let's try this. So Hanu's going to push the box onto its back so that the seam is straight up and down.
No.
Okay.
She's going to clean out a little bit of the pitch between the thing. Hey, Ozash, put your axe right there.
No.
Ah, I see.
Ozash kind of just raises an eyebrow and kind of hesitates a little bit and is like, okay.
And
You-
she's put the edge of the axe inside the gap she made. Then she's going to back up and just kind of look at Verja.
We're laying rail ties.
Exactly.
All right, Virgin, make me an athletics check to aid Ozash.
And I'm not gonna like full
Or-
swing it. I'm just gonna be like,
It's probably the other way around, honestly. Ozash make me an athletics check to aid Virgin. Because Virgin's the one doing the big swing here.
That is going to be a 26.
All right, +1, my friend.
Good job.
that will be a 20. Dirty.
With a dirty 20 here, you put a couple of swings into this, but the seal is not so much your problem. The blade of the axe ends up biting a little way into this, but not really much further before. I mean, it's also bone. It's not any harder than the case here. And both the metal fixtures on the back, these thick iron hinges, and the device on the front are keeping this from separating anyway. A 20's not going to do it.
All right. Can I just hit the
Can
box
I
now?
take a look at it in a different way before we do that?
It's just made of rawhide between the bone framing, right?
Well, it's like rawhide kind of like around the corners and the edges, so it's
What are
not
the
just like
metal
sharp
hinges?
exposed bone.
Let's go at this from the weakest part of it.
The bone.
No, I'm gonna get my sword in under one of the metal hinges, or something that is metal under one of the metal hinges. Or is there no space?
No, they're set into the case. This is a lockbox. They're not just like, this isn't like a
okay.
Hobby Lobby shelf decoration. It's not just like two Phillips head screws on the outside.
Amazon Basics.
Like they're
Maximum
set
security.
into the
Oh,
footlocker. Like, you can't just pry the wedges off. It's a good thought.
What are
but-
they? Is there any like mechanism to like? Keep in mind, he's never seen a lock
Right.
before. So like the back of it, does it look like there's any weak point that he can exploit on either of the wedges to get them off?
Not really. They're set flush into the outside of this case here, clearly having been bored an amount into the back of the footlocker.
Can I smash it now?
No visible attachments or fixtures, and the hinge itself very much set within the device.
All right. Okay.
Let's try this. And Hanu's going to struggle.
This is the box episode.
Push it up onto its long end, so at least you're hitting the top of it. And
Yeah.
we'll do it that way.
All right. Now I'm just gonna hit the box.
Everybody get out of the
Full
way.
swing
Give me just a big old athletics check.
Guidance.
Everyone behind the shield.
to 2. So that's an 11 total. The problem is,
He
it's a
wails
little
into it,
more
he knocks it
flexible than we
over.
thought. It bounces.
Yeah, well, you wail. Okay, yeah, you wail. It bounces, and you just knock it over, and
Yeah.
it scatters across the stone outside the cave here.
You want me to have a try
loudly
at it?
crashing and tumbling from the impact.
I'm gonna give it a try. Stand it up.
You take turns.
Do you want me to do this part?
Okay.
All right, everyone back up.
Give me that athletics check.
Guidance.
Everyone line up for the strength test.
25. 26. Sorry, guidance.
Oh, we got those exactly.
Guidance.
By the
you, guidance.
power of the
+1.
primal guidance, Aram smashes into this thing. What do you do? What happens here?
So Aram, instead of thinking about smashing it the whole time, has actually looked at the construction of the thing, found a very small weak point in one of the bone cracks, and is focusing his sword down at it to try to split the thing open like a log.
And as
One of
you
the cracks I made.
as you smack into this, it does bite through one of the halves of this casing, splitting it apart and running this crack all the way down the seam as the half of that is attached to the hinges immediately from the impact just like pops and swings open, and the other half kind of jostling free and falling off as it's no longer held in place on the backside. And I need a performance check from Ozosh before I can tell you what happens.
21.
The number was 26 for everything else. Maybe it wasn't 26 for this one.
33 for performance.
What is happening today?
What, we're just exactly.
Or DC 21 performance trained.
Yeah.
Anybody who has this book can literally check all of these numbers that we're hitting exactly every single time.
We're guided by Sister Cinder
We're guided by Sister Cinder,
Or
apparently.
stupidity.
and Arbiter.
And the Arbiter, yep.
I gotta add that one to the list.
And it pops open.
It almost exploded.
It pops open. Inside, quite a few things go flying from this impact, kind of tumbling out across the stone. You see 3 about 6-inch, maybe hand-sized, 2 fingers around, ivory figurines of some vaguely humanoid hooded figure go scattering and bouncing across the stone. A small bundle of incense that smells potent enough that as the box opens, the scent of this kind of hits you, those standing nearby, even outside, immediately. A slim leather folio that seems to be about 12 to 15 pages of like machined parchment bound together, tumbles out of the ground, and inside, as it kind of bounces and readjusts, there is a rod, like a cane, that's about as long as the full box, about 4 feet, seeming to be like an ash white wood. Where you can still see a bit of the living seams in the wood itself. It's not polished, perfectly smooth, tipped at either end with a silver spiraling sigil.
Interesting.
Pretty.
It's the same sigil as in the front of the box.
Wow, do you know what this means?
It's a fancy stick.
I win.
I literally. I hit it first and weakened it.
And score 1 for Aram.
While these two are arguing, I'm going to investigate the pages.
Okay.
I'm going to take a look at them.
Opening this up, you would find something. This treatise written largely in Taldane, but it is magical in nature, and there is enough magical text and rune in here that you may not be able to read like the labels and the various text in between them. You can actually make perfectly decent sense of the magical mechanics involved within this. So what the rest of you? He picks this up, so he's kind of flipping through it.
Grabbing the stick.
You got a big
Little
stick.
white figurines
Got a
look nice.
stick.
Put my hands on them.
And as you're flipping through this describes
Start gnawing on one.
something kind of akin to a scroll, but much more involved. This is, you found a scroll of fireball that you could pull off and fling, literally 2 actions in combat. This looks like something that is like a higher scaled up, magically infused variant of what Amka had led you through when you were trying to appease the box spirit in the first place. This would take days to cast, whatever this is, and you would not be able to do it alone. This would take a team of at least 3 people, though as far as you can tell, only the leader need necessarily be adept in magic. It's very divine in nature. And what it appears to do is bless a site or a place, a particularly large object, a room perhaps, consecrating it, creating a truly sacred and protected holy site.
So basically, it's, I guess the best way to put it is an instruction manual to bless / purify the ground of a certain establishment or
It is
Insta shrine.
It is a directions for the 2nd level consecrate ritual.
I was about to say it's a ritual to consecrate the ground that
Yeah.
you stand on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of exactly yes.
Shrine.
It would be like a 40-foot radius around the
that's
area, so it's a pretty like a decently large area.
I feel like
that you're
that's-
consecrating.
It's pretty neat.
That sounds very useful for something in the future.
Well, some of the iconography in here, you get the sense obviously this is dedicated in degree towards the Arbiter with these spiraling emblems. It would, in theory, work for any god. You could consecrate a site to Sister Cinder if you so chose, but you would need to have a fixture or altar, a mobile shrine of some kind at the center to
Totally.
anchor this magic.
So a campfire.
I will put it away, and I will go over to Amka and share what I found.
And Amka, as you were looking over this large staff here, what's your religion modifier?
+9.
Plus a 9. You would divine that this rod is also quite magical in origin and something much closer to your studies with Nocta than much of the rest of what you have found within these caves or within this entire site. This is a holy staff dedicated to necromantic magic, but not like raising the dead and resurrection, like healing. This staff both could be bestowed with a portion of your divine power to aid you in your efforts throughout the day, but even just bearing the thing would make your healing spells a touch more effective. It is a lesser staff of healing.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
I got a cool walking stick.
Yeah.
So, in addition to the things that the staves do, I'm pretty sure it just has stabilize and first level heal in it. Having a staff of healing makes all of your heal spells, whether you cast them out of the staff or not, heal an additional point of health back.
Nice.
A little bit extra
that.
sauce.
Very nice.
Less likely to kill us slightly.
Verja, as you're looking over these little figurines that you've collected, the 3 of them all indicate a hooded figure, though one of them, the hood is set a little bit back, allowing you to see the face, the visage of what appears to be a woman. Her eyes blank and empty, inscribed with no pupils, even though the figure is otherwise quite detailed. Her long, straight hair seemingly brushed straight back under the hood. Of the 3 figures here, all of them upon their back are inscribed another one of these symbols of the spiraling comet. And each of them appear to bear something different within their hands. One of them, another figure, like a large plate carved with this same symbol itself. The second bearing a skull, and the one with the hood back a little ways appears to just have water pouring forth from her cupped hands down to the base of the figurine. They all look like they may be the same figure, but with no face on the first 2, it's somewhat difficult to tell.
These are neat looking.
You shouldn't play with them. You don't know what they are.
They're carved rocks.
Carved
Are they
ivory.
magical?
Oh, okay.
Even fancier.
Why would I know?
Sorry, I forgot. I was asking
Excuse me.
an idiot. Ozark,
As
let's
if
go over
you know
here.
either.
Are they magical?
Let me take a look.
No.
Nope.
Wait, can we tell them they are and pretend they do something really stupid before we go back over there?
Only if you give me some of your meat later.
Sure.
Deal.
Wow, Ozosh, what do they do?
I think I'm not entirely sure what they do, but I know that if you concentrate hard enough, maybe it'll make your wishes come true. What do you think, Virja? Maybe you should give it a try. Tosses one of them to you.
Now I have 3 wishes. Keep
Yeah.
these.
This could get really useful later, Versh.
Oh, I'm sure. Now they're mine.
Let's
Worth it.
pocketing that last bundle of incense that is certainly derived from herbs that do not grow in these lands. That seems to be all for the inside of this case. Well, the inside is padded with a bit of kind of thick, soft leather to protect the staff and the rest of the contents. A small bit of compartmentalized near the base to hold these smaller little objects that come flying out when you beat the hell out of it. There doesn't appear to be anything else of interest within the box.
Yeah, lockpick. Never should train that.
Well,
Well,
We didn't come to disable devices.
Yeah.
We live in the realm of the mammoth lords.
Smash.
I mean, I guess this was fun.
The funny thing is, Hanui actually got trained in thievery at the last level just from a side effect of the ancestry feat, but she doesn't know how things work and she has no thieves' tools. So it doesn't matter.
Get a stick, put it in the hole.
Yeah.
Rake fast. Break stick. Jammed forever.
That's
It's
all
like,
it is.
Virja, smash it, please.
I'm sorry, who?
Oh, yeah, arm faster.
But this is almost
my shirt off to
certainly
do it, too.
the box that has been depicted by the chart back at the Apaku.
I would be very concerned if this was not the box, since it was a 45-minute box.
It's a huge freaking box.
yeah.
But with this strange spoils in tow, there's little left to do with this day other than head back down to your camp.
Yep.
To meet up with the rest of the Broken Tusks, and
If the thing had a mouth, would it be an apocalypse?
these are the things that you have.
Share the story.
of the
However
box.
Unfortunately,
mundane
Aram
it
never made
is.
it back.
I'd love
to
you to
camp.
sing you the tale of the box.
It's an interesting box with some strange things, which certainly Nocta and Harik would both take a particular interest in some of the things that have been brought back. Murtig actually very much interested in the bundle of incense.
Of course.
If you're willing to relinquish it to him, just so he could,
Yeah.
he kind of wants to know what it is, and he's a bit of a.
Harik is kind of a jokester. I'm definitely gonna let her in on the fact that we've convinced Virja that the little statues grant wishes. Please don't break him of it. Come on, let us play a trick on him.
If he lights the incense and all the herbs and stuff, he might lose track of time.
These visages, I believe each of these figurines depicts the Arbiter herself.
She really likes her hoods, doesn't she?
Who is the Arbiter anyway?
She is one of Sister Cinder's many family among the stars. One of those who watches over this world, though much of her interest comes after. She is the handler of spirits, the one who would have passed Grandfather Sven's soul along to the heart of the sun and the cinder itself.
Wow. We don't talk about her that much.
Or do you not listen?
Well, I think our goal is to make sure that we put off our acquaintance of her for as long as possible.
There are some followings within our lands who dedicate much more of their worship to the Arbiter herself. We pay her our respects, of course. And had you paid any amount of attention to the rituals when you were younger, Aram, perhaps you would know more of her teachings.
I'm paying attention is a funny joke indeed.
I pay attention if it sounds
I
interesting.
told you who the Arbiter was earlier, up on top of that mountain.
Yeah, but like death, that's really vague.
But
That's-
the following morning, we are confronted once more with a map. A map that is seeming to have few directions to proceed.
It's getting smaller.
Well, the south and the east here seem to just come in well to walls. That depiction we found at the Apaku shows us still yet more of the area around to the north, and hopefully a direction where we would be able to make further progress east towards Lost Mammoth Valley.
If we can head due north, the ground seems fairly even. We may be able to make it to the trees before the burning mammoths are able to lay eyes on us.
It's worth a try for sure.
2 days of travel due north through relatively open plains would move you 2 hexes, moving the burning mammoths 1, which is easier than doing these little half-movie things.
What if cover tracks? Because we've been here twice.
We don't have time.
We don't have time.
Yeah, we don't have time.
We need to book it.
We did have a bit of a diversion, but it could buy you more time in the future. It's
Perhaps we should save it before we enter the woods.
That was what I was intending.
Well, if we
I think we need one more hex due north.
Yeah.
yeah, you move 2 hexes.
Yeah.
So from there was still nothing yet revealed. You continuing north towards the tree line,
Yeah.
which another day's journey, the burning mammoths coming around the foothills here, moving half a hex, just trying to get better view into the area. As after losing your tracks, it's possible during a few of those last few days of travel, you once again saw the red ember in the distance, the glow in the night sky of the burning mammoths. It's possible they marked you as well. But maybe you were swift enough to swing around these peaks and extension to get out of sight.
This is where I'd like to try to cover us if we can.
It will be a delay, but perhaps we can try it and then make for the woods as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking maybe we'd be best to get under cover of trees.
I mean, I can try to do it once we get into the tree line, I suppose.
Maybe that would be best.
we could do
Okay.
both.
Let's try to get into the tree line first. I think
Yeah.
Hanwi might be right.
Okay. Moving into the thickets of forest here is, of course, difficult and going to take you 2 days of journey. Are you going due north or are you going northeast?
Probably just straight north.
Yeah.
Continue the mad run. And then revealing the area around. It's been a minute since we've had to do the little wipe around the vertices here to reveal some things. It's been a minute since we've had our journey here. This forest kind of disguises the landscape underneath it. Remember, you can just drag the token around all the vertices. It's surprisingly steep. This is almost both a forest and a hill style here, as the ground proceeds to ascend very starkly upwards. But even as you move into the tree line, the trees themselves even more so, shooting up from these rocky cliffs and these rolling hillsides to tower overhead. This is certainly the densest thicket that the group of you have encountered since you moved past the grandparents and on your way towards the Lost Mammoth Valley, wherever that may be. And stretched between these mighty trunks are huge whirls of undergrowth, thickets, and brambles. Going is phenomenally difficult
You know what
through
that
here.
means. This is a great place for them to get lost.
Yup.
It's possibly a
Yeah.
great place for the group of you to get lost as well, may very well be the danger. And as you are moving through, trying to find safe haven on the second day for your following to settle down and camp within these incredibly dense woods, you hear a voice
Oh, no.
emanating out
I know what this is.
from a thick,
Put it away.
dense
Don't do it.
gnarl
No.
of brambles right next to you, coming seemingly from the floor. Excuse me!
What?
Are you a fae?
The group of you look down
Sylvan?
and don't immediately see much of anything before a small little bit of these brambles start to move. A creature inches tall that seems to be built almost more than made. A creature put together of wood and brambles. His shoulders looking like the teeth on the outside of pine cones. His face almost like a berm of a small sprout. He has
It's a Leshy playing knight.
what fits almost, it kind of does look sort of like a Leshy, yeah.
He's adorable.
And he's maybe about knee high as he stands up, with literally a thick, matted green beard hanging down maybe 2 inches about halfway past his torso.
That thing's horrifying. It doesn't
His-
look cute at all. What are you talking about?
Oh, you scale it down to about that big.
I'm
and you
calling
can't
him
make out all those
grandfather.
details.
If you
Sprout.
met that thing, if that thing was 1.5 feet tall and you ran it and you saw that, you would run away screaming.
I mean,
Yes,
I've
I
heard
would.
from most of the stuff.
Do you
in
remember
Galarian.
the movie of the action figures coming to life?
There is no,
soldiers.
whether you find it adorable or not, this little thing right here cocks his head over towards Aram and then continues in Sylvan. Perhaps you could help us? And the rest of you would hear this thing reply in
I don't understand that. I don't
whatever
like that.
language Aram said.
What is it?
It's definitely a fey,
What-
but don't hurt it yet.
What is, has Hanwi ever seen these things before? I've got lore
What are
forest, and
you all doing right now?
I have my hand on the base of my mallet looking at it like I could get rid of this Fae
This
real
thing
quick.
is smaller than the head of your mallet. It is not large. Hanwi is
spoken
thinking
Sylvan.
about what the hell this thing is. It did very clearly speak. We have the test. It failed the test.
I
Test.
am
So
asked.
probably scouting for if that matters.
Okay.
Just like looking around like
Yeah, you're like ready to start smacking if necessary.
Shield?
Put his shield up. He's scared.
Not scared, concerned.
Concerned is like scared light. You too? Okay. Aram,
Searching.
you're looking
because-
at him.
What is this? I don't even know. Amka is just. I'm just confused. It's a talking pine cone.
Okay.
It's adorable.
Amka and Aram, why don't you both rolling perception checks? And
a natural 20.
Okay.
natural 20?
Natural 20.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna bother
For a
rolling.
total of a 29.
As you kind of look towards this thing, seeing it's difficult to see any amount through this thick underbrush. It slowed your passage dramatically, but you can make out a couple more similar figures lurking further back in the brambles, definitely watching the group of you. There's at least 3 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hanwi, while this is certainly a little forest spirit of some kind, as to what's your nature modifier?
11.
Oh, it's actually I literally the thought of my head was there's no way he has 11 nature.
Okay.
Because you didn't see my roll. But I figured I almost just said you don't know what it is. I'm like, he doesn't have 11 nature. He has 11. He's a wisdom caster. He has 11
It's almost like he went
nature.
expert when he had
It's almost like
chance.
that's the thing his character does.
It's almost like how clerics always go expert when they get religion. So.
Yeah, this is something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clerics.
To be expected.
This is
fair.
a little forest spirit known as a twigjack. And twigjacks are nasty little fairies. They are extremely unfriendly and very, not so much aggressive, but they just, and I mean this in like the literal deadpanest sense possible, think human suffering and pain is hilarious. That is a great source of entertainment for them. So they're very direct, Fae. Like they'll just jump you and start stabbing you because they think it's funny. They're not usually one for plotting.
So
Hanri's attitude and demeanor gets very skittish. And she kind of backs up a bit.
You would also know that, looking at them, quite flammable.
Yeah. So I actually just had that thought of like, these guys are made of bark, and I have fire bombs in my pocket.
Quite
Yeah.
flammable.
So instead
And
of holding my
Hanwi's not
mallet,
saying anything particular, but she's just going to reach into Ozash's pouch, pull out one of those bombs, and put it in your hand.
But as you're doing this, it's this quick moment here where,
You think I need this?
I'm just gonna hold
Arm
the
whispers back to the
thing.
party. And he says again, this time in Halit, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which language to use.
Halit's fine.
We're having a problem with some very nasty quicklings. Extremely rude little creatures. They think they own the whole wood. They keep stealing our favorite berries and tearing down our homes.
What are those? Are they more fey?
So Hanwi would know at the name here that quicklings are another type of forest spirit. They are kind of much more of what you would think of as a traditional fairy. Kind of wide bug eyes, more humanoid features, save for 2 small little sprouting folded antennas that come out of their temples. They're about the same size as they're significantly bigger than a twigjack. A quickling's like a couple feet tall. They're like a halfling.
Small versus tiny.
Yeah, small versus tiny. They're like a halfling. Incredibly thin and limber spirits that seem to flit through the trees.
It's almost like they're quick.
Yeah, it's seeming to move so quickly that it looks like they simply appear and disappear as they please, like fireflies in the night. They are also very unfriendly to mortal races. They are more of the horrible pain-causing pranksters. Their kind of funny thing is quicklings find a bear trap in the woods and set it up behind a flap of somebody's tent to watch and see and giggle as it snaps their shin off.
So what you're saying is...
Neither of them are friendly creatures.
Means that we're in the wrong neighborhood. That's what all of this
So
means.
what you're saying
this
is
is the
light
right
it on
neighborhood.
fire.
This is exactly where we want to bring all of the burning mammoths through.
We were hoping that maybe, and immediately you feel like rush of wind, and in a flash you see a figure up in the trees above you, about the size of a halfling, more slender, little antennas, hanging off with one hand with a short sword in their other hand, a small little wooden carved blade with no crossguard, simply like a wrapped handle and then sharpened wooden edges, seemingly without even a tip, just blunted at the top. Don't listen to this lying sack of twigs! And she points her short sword down at this thing. Her face is a little bit more feline than Minnie, with small little triangle, almost fox-like ears sprouting off the side of her head. These twigjacks won't leave us alone! This is our wood. We've been here for generations. We want them to take their miserable pranks and foul smells elsewhere.
How about we let you all settle that?
And then just two more of them shoot into the trees up above you, all clearly visible.
No.
And we just, go on our way because this isn't our fight.
No. I have a good idea.
So
I have
Howie's
a
just
good idea.
looking at the both of them right now. This is what Howie suspects. They're both jerks. They deserve each other.
Yeah.
They're hoping to use this as cat's paws to get rid of the other ones, and then they're going to stab us in the
Yes.
back.
Well, why don't we just leave?
And you see
Because the following's coming through here in a few hours.
this little twigjack on the ground puts very rude gestures up towards the quicklings. This is nonsense! They steal all of our berries. They don't even eat them. They trample them underfoot just to see us in pain. And the quickling, one of the ones up above, yelling back down again. The berries shouldn't even be here. You cultivate them where our homes used to be after you ran us out.
I have an idea.
Go ahead.
Why don't each of you
All of them immediately focus on Aram. All 6 of these figures here.
pick the strongest figure of each of you and have it out, and whoever of that one wins, the others have to leave.
Like your leader. What happened to your leader? He came for our berries and he exploded from one of your little bombs. We had our revenge. We took a couple of yours. It was equal. We were even. We didn't have to fight. You took more, but yours was spite. We were protecting, and then just you can feel this getting more hostile.
Why don't we play a game?
Divert. 6 pairs of eyes.
So, in a couple days, we're going to have a little game to decide who gets to stay here. There's going to be a large group of humans coming through, and whoever can cause them the most torment keeps the woods.
Twigjacks look at each other. Quicklings kind of look at each other.
Make sure you clarify it's not our large.
Couple days.
The first of the Twigjacks looks back up towards you. That does sound
You can do
fun.
Whatever you want.
But you have to let us leave first.
I don't like this.
you can do whatever you
Quick
want.
check. Quick link up the tree. We have to wait.
You have to wait and
Just a couple
prepare,
moons.
set traps.
I just across to the bed. In a blink is in the branches with the other 2 above the Twigjacks, and they've got their heads together, just kind of conversing. It's because she's scared. She knows we'll do better. She's seen what Twigjacks can do. And the Quickling immediately whips around. Nonsense! You tiny little creatures can barely even reach the mortal folk. You can harass their ankles all day. Your traps are nothing to them. And then
They weren't nothing to yours when they came after our berry bushes, were they?
I don't know. We're gonna have to wait a couple days and see because
This is perfect. This gives you both a fair chance to set up as many traps and as many plans as you want.
And the quickling points a short sword down at Verja.
Why should we believe you? We've never seen humans in these woods. Well, very rarely.
here,
Not in large numbers.
look off to the distance.
Climb to the top of the tree and
should
look
be
to the south.
smoke.
Gone, and and there's no like poof of smoke. There's no fading out. They just cease to be there.
Look to the southwest. You can see their fires.
Twig Jack.
I have to trust a quickling's word.
I've seen them too. I mean, 2 out of 3.
I'll look for myself.
And turns and like grabs a couple handfuls of brambles
like,
that are
"That's fair."
fairly thick, and just sort of shoves his face into them, and his legs kind of kick up behind him. He just down the brambles, and then just isn't there anymore.
Faye.
Faced up.
Just the third quickling comes back in. Another one of these little bursts of sound as they arrive.
They speak true. There's so many of them. And they have so much fire. Dozens upon dozens. The whole of the forest will hold our contest.
And out of a different little pile of brambles, you see this little head pop out again.
And then you'll leave. We can run off more of them than you can.
Quickly looks down.
We'll see about that, little sticks.
Just boom, boom, boom. All the quicklings are just gone in an instant. This little Twig Jack looks up.
This will be good sport.
Yeah.
There are so many of them.
Yep.
We will lay some
Cool.
traps of our own for them as well.
Make
We
sure-
will get
No.
out of their way.
We're gonna get out
We
of their
need
way.
nothing. This will be a fair contest. We will win. They will barely enter the forest before they felt all of our wrath. The
we will
quicklings won't even have a moment to engage, and then the trees will be ours once more.
Well, in that case, I suppose it is our time to leave. Enjoy your competition.
We're not going to hide our tracks here. We're just going to...
Yeah, we're just gonna book it out of town.
Yep.
And he turns to Hanwi specifically at this.
Your herald, your advisor here, he speaks wise. Your leadership must be equally wise to have chosen him.
You see the truth of things.
Aram looks like you could take him apart. You could just plink him, and he would just fall into a million pieces.
Add another one to Verja's count.
God damn it.
If
I
that's
do
what
tally that.
having noticed that, having noticed the skill of my herald, I feel strongly that you have an advantage in the coming fight.
A lot of bone that has notches in it.
Yep.
These quicklings have no chance. They are fast, but they have nothing else when their speed leaves them, when their legs are broken.
Just a warning, you look highly flammable. There's a lot of fire with them.
Their fire will barely reach the line of the trees before they are sundered.
Indeed, they will be. The Twig Jacks are wise. They know their strengths.
These will be games remembered for generations.
And it turns back and like puts both of his hands up, just like so the other two little Twig Jacks who just pop up and put their hands up as well. And then all three of them just kind of climb into some little bramble clusters, and suddenly you are alone within the woods.
Off into the woods, just, good luck to both of you. We will be leaving.
Well,
All right,
Oh,
We're
going back to
following.
Mammoths. We need to force march our way out of the damn woods. We are not going to stick around
There's
until they
nothing
get
but
bored.
Faye here. We set up a game. It's time for us to leave. Quickly.
yep.
well,
Sooner
Yeah.
the better.
marching through the night is
Definitely lied about how many days, but
marching.
They'll see him coming.
Marching through the night is difficult. The following has elderly, it has infirm, it has children, it has herds.
but we don't need to march
But-
through the night. We need to leave immediately in the morning.
We could get through the night.
If
How
we-
difficult is it?
If you march through the night,
And then like spend an extra.
you are going to need to spend a couple of days in the next
Worth
text
it.
to recover.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. We'll just be like, we have to get out of these woods.
Yeah,
as
don't
soon
ask
as we're out.
questions.
Yeah.
There's going to be a fairy war. You're not kidding.
stay here.
We gotta go.
What the hell
no
did you
chance,
guys
no chance.
do?
Let's go.
Hi.
Get back on
Heading back to the following, it is the normal work of the evening that you report back to the mammoth boards about safe sites that you have found, places for the camp to be prepared.
None
a
of
few
them here.
hours before
Not
sundown,
here.
you're preparing.
Not
But
here.
today it is we gotta go. we don't gotta go home, but we can't stay here. And through the night, the Broken Tusks would march onward towards, it seems, only one hex within reach that isn't more of this expanse of woods
It's not here.
to the northeast.
Oh, I like it here. This isn't woods.
That morning, exhausted, fatigue running throughout the camp, the group of you would certainly be taking a couple of days to rest here. And so, too, will we take a couple of minutes to rest and take our midstream break.
We're on the other side of the woods. I like it here.
That is fun. This is just fun because, again, this is the Paizo adventure.
Way to go, Derp.
As written,
Brilliant.
Fae and games at the same time.
As written, the only solution that the Fae will immediately accept without some pretty rough diplomacy checks or intimidation on both sides is, well, hey, if you don't screw with us, you can screw with way more people in a couple of days.
Nice.
This suggestion earns immediate agreement from both sides without the need for a skill check.
I like it.
That
I
was
heard
awesome.
doesn't like humans. How about we give you 10 times as
man-
many humans,
this-
and you have warning they're coming?
This idiot.
This
Idiot
man-
himself into the perfect solution.
We have laid some traps behind for the burning mammoths in the past, but boy howdy, are they
think this
going
is
to
the
have an
best of them all.
adventure in the woods.
2 teams of Fae with an entire week of prep time. This is
It's not going to go well.
It's like the Feo.
I just regret not being able to stay and watch.
We're going to stand up, stretch our legs, grab some snacks, get some friggin' popcorn for the Fae Wars.
Fae Wars.
We'll be
Part
back in a
one.
couple of minutes. Breaks
Tusk
usually about
God.
10 to 15. Feel free to stretch your legs, hit the bathroom as well. You aren't going to be missing anything, but don't go too far because when we return,
You're not going to miss Fae Wars.
We will.
our
back.
adventure continues. Be right back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get back underway here, because to my infinite sadness, Derp has a brain and
Every once in a while.
has actually come up with like several really good ideas today between dragging the footlocker out of the cave, the cats to take magic again, and literally the only written solution to the Fae problem. I don't get to throw horrible quicklings at
I
my
have
party.
done that a few times.
You have. Which means that I should take the moment now, since I'm not sure it's going to come up, to highlight another one of our partners here with Eldritch Foundry and their pretty neat little miniatures that should be, I think, taking the place of my face right now. They are super great. Their resin casts are fairly new. I'm going to brag a bit. We were some of the first people to go to the resin cast, so that's pretty cool. We technically had them getting produced a little bit before they were available because the guys over at Eldritch Foundry are super cool dudes, and I really enjoy working with them as partners. We got a discount code for them down below. I really am a huge fan of the facial customization options that they have on the miniatures.
Yep.
Check them out if you haven't. It's cool.
Quality resin doesn't snap when you.
Yeah, it's like good resin. It doesn't. Yeah, these things don't just like
got-
break. It's
and
super useful.
The Nick test when he was painting them probably a few times.
If you watch the painting video, you will see it where I see that bow flex and my throat goes, and then it doesn't break, and I'm amazingly happy.
I think it is literally like the Nom flashback to the Aspis mini.
Yes.
Because you did break the
I
Aspis
totally
mini.
broke
Yeah.
Like on camera, it's on camera in the video, me clipping the supports off the bow, and then I just go clip, and the tip of the arrow just goes, disappears
Yeah, it's gone.
from this reality.
Gone into orbit.
Yup.
Like that thing was yoten to somewhere else, which is the past tense of yeet.
There you go.
No, isn't that Italian?
It's also the language the giants speak, Italian, yes. Boppity boopity. So, it has been a couple of days that we have passed here beyond the woods, happily unmolested by warring Fae tribes. And I'm so sad.
I'm not.
These guys suck so much. And it was going to be so much fun for me and literally nobody else at the table.
So my next
Man.
PC is going to be a quickling.
No.
They're so annoying. These are the worst. I'm going to read to you from the Annals of Bestiary 2.
Ooh.
Quickling reaction. Triggered by being targeted by a strike. Not failing, not critically failing, just being targeted. The Quickling darts aside, getting +2 circumstance bonus to AC. Their base AC is 20 freaking 2, by the way, because fast. Then strides up to half their speed after the strike resolves. Their speed is 100 feet. This is nimble dodge, but then you also run to a different state for free. Like this.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, basically, we
That's
fought,
the most annoying thing I've ever read in my life.
it's at will dimension door, basically.
It's a reaction. It's worse than at will dimension door.
And you need an 18 to hit them.
Because the other AC is 1 billion. They're like, they're so annoying. Man, it was gonna be so funny. Not for anyone, for me and nobody else at the table. Chat would probably have thought it was hilarious, but you guys would not have had a good time.
with much wailing and gnashing of teeth, were there to be at the table that day.
Sad. I really wanted to run that, and I really wanted to run that. Dang it, you guys and your non-lethal intelligent solutions to problems.
From the barbarian.
I was about to say, it's all the barbarian, man.
somehow.
From the barbarian.
Fortunately for the group of you, the several days that the following has had to rest to recuperate from pushing through this incredibly thick and dangerous forest so quickly has been matched by the fact that the burning mammoths just walked into the last place that you guys concealed your tracks. So they're going to be there for a minute.
So
They have made it out into the clearing and at this point well and truly lost hope of being able to see the Broken Tusks. They have made it about to the center of this southern vale here, not far from the strange undead cairns, between that and the forests. And in every direction, they see peaks, trees, no tusks.
So tempted to go back. We were so tempted to go back there and leave like little go this way, pick up this rock, totally
I was
go
gonna
in there.
ask, like, opposite mechanics of hiding your tracks. Can we put up a big bonfire and
Place false tracks is one of the things. You just
No.
decide not to do it because nobody has deception.
no opposite of hiding tracks? I want to be like, we're over here with a big fire,
I mean,
wants
they'll
to-
figure it
and
out.
then they go through the Fey Forest.
I mean, they're going to figure it out because they're going to
Nuances.
find our tracks, and our tracks literally will. They just follow the trail of mammoth poo and take
Yeah.
them where we're
That's
going.
the hardest part about covering your tracks, really, is the
really
like
shoveling
is the
mammoth
like one entire hippopotamus worth of mammoth feces that gets left behind every day.
Yeah.
Like,
Sending them into the cairn would have been pretty fun too.
Yeah, there's only 2 of them. Probably not.
there's
Fae,
several
though,
hundred. They'd have
oh
a
my
bad
God.
time for sure,
2
but
separate tribes of Fey.
That
Let's
Fey
go.
forest is going to be like
It's
a
gonna be
blender.
the wow, yeah.
So
Ewok
while we're here
flashbacks.
for 2 days, can I leave little like, hope you enjoyed our gift? So that because I know they'll be coming through here,
you're gonna set up the Angry Fey Forest gift shop.
Yeah.
just like a few signs,
little
that I know
t-shirt
they'll see.
stand, yeah.
Just like, hope you enjoyed the gift.
Kisses.
Meeting you, XO.
I mean, the first thing that popped in my mind was the
Just a giant smiley
Just a smiley
face
face.
carved into the trees near the far
Little
end.
twigs that are like designed to capture the spirits of the dead. Just put a whole bunch of them because you're sure they're going to need them.
Booly.
Something like that.
Booly.
Open graves.
Open
Just
graves,
like
that's-
we,
Yeah. Oh,
we dug these
that's a
for you.
great idea.
I'll leave one of the little Pharasma figurines. Just like, you guys need this more than me.
We're spitballing ideas here at a table. You guys have like 2 days at a campsite
No, we're
to
gonna do
come
a
up
lot
with,
of it.
with hilarious things to leave behind for the burning mammoths.
And
Now,
after explaining to everybody why we had to force march overnight, I'm sure they're all like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
the first day, somewhere around your scheming, as I'm sure you are laughing as uproariously as we are, as the constantly leaving behind figurines of the Arbiter and digging graves. Like, thought you might need these.
Making shirts. I survived the Fey Forest.
Wotan would come to the group of you.
Wotan wet blanket.
Yeah, folks.
I have
Tidings.
no concerns with your merriment. However, antagonizing the burning mammoths further certainly serves our cause no good. Would you agree?
We're not doing anything. It's the Fae.
The whole of the following can hear everything that you are planning to do. You are perhaps Some of the least subtle fledglings to ever grace the Tusks.
To be fair,
You need to be subtle.
to be fair, Lord Wotan, our current relationship with the mammoths is they attempt to kill us on sight. How could the relationship possibly get any worse?
Currently, certainly, much of their following traipses after us at the behest of their war chief. You have, I am sure, spoken with Macau as well, and heard some of his tales. They follow us out of a blind appeal to leadership. They do not divert from their command. Were we to leave open, readied graves and figurines of the Arbiter in our wake to insult their dead, they would be inspired personally. They would chase us as individuals, not as burning mammoths.
You're right.
Yeah.
He has a point.
Let's go fill the graves back in.
Though, I will admit, the thought of the experiences they are certain to have in this thicket behind us brings me no small amount of peace.
I'm just glad they listened. I thought that we were going to have to deal with them ourselves.
Fae are strange and fickle creatures.
We've noticed.
For as many of them that display outright hostility, such as the Kelpie you had to dispatch back at the lake, or whatever you had dealt with at the Gornok River prior to the Green Moon, we have Henry, who means us nothing but well. Your stories of the water spirit back in the cave, be that Fae or spirit of the elements, they are much one and the same.
I mean, I guess they're as varied as the tribes are. To say that all tribes of this area all act and have the same motivations would be just as silly.
As wise, indeed. But still, it is even more so to ensure that in any dealings with them, you keep yourself protected. It can be near impossible to divine their true intentions in a short span of time.
We have a method, though.
And we are fortunate that whatever lurks within those woods behind us now truly did mean us no harm.
No, I'm
Well,
pretty
at
sure
least
they
you
meant
gave
us
them,
harm.
or at least you gave them a better target.
They were distracted long enough to let us pass.
And
Simply telling them there's more people behind us was all they needed.
Twigjacks I am familiar with. Believe it or not, when I was a much younger hunter, I had a run-in with a small band of them. They're fickle and hateful little creatures. And they carry within themselves the tumultuous force of nature. Bursts forth like a geyser, carrying a shower of wooden blades in its wake.
it sounds unpleasant.
They are a menace far beyond what their small stature might appear. It is good that you do not have to cross blades with them. Anyway, and he turns and heads back off to the camp. You get the half of the Wotan scolding and the half of like, that was pretty good though. You get the 50-50.
Your mom says I have to punish you, but good going.
That had so much dad energy.
So much.
Great.
But the following morning, some days later, ready to continue on, the path does seem to open wide before us. Though the foothills seem to be rising up a bit to the north, and if our experience is any indication, will give way to peaks not far beyond. Northeast and southeast both seem to be fairly easy going. The vale we passed through weeks past to the south with the cairn and the box seems to have wound its way around now to the northern end of these reaches. But the ground here has risen back up once more as you pass through that forest. The vale you came through before was set much lower, a far deeper, wider canyon within the peaks at the eastern fringes of Tuskland. This has risen back up. Even these open pathways here, while they do have some growth, some grass, they are far from plains or easy grasslands. They are just flatter, more pats of stone and dirt. You are well and truly up amongst the peaks now. And the snow of the greatest above you looms much closer than it did the days before your passage through the woods.
Is it harder to breathe up here? Like, are we that much higher up?
It's not that much higher. Like, it's not. I mean, probably
entire thing
yes,
is high.
but yeah, like you're up in the realm of the mammoth lords.
Okay.
You're kind of up. You've been up in the mountains a degree for weeks. Like, you have gone
Okay.
up a good amount, but you did it over the course of days.
Okay, that's
It's like
more.
the rank we did. Like everything is high here.
Yeah.
This is just relatively slightly lower.
Exactly, and you probably have moved
Higher,
from
yeah.
like the Rio Grande to the surface of the canyons beside it, and that's where we're at as far as elevation difference here.
It's all
Fortunately,
high and hard.
the forests behind you are so tall and thick that as you leave them, they obscure the entirety of the southern vale beyond. This raised area, though it seems to open up for miles around now, was not visible from the other side of the woods.
Okay, this
Well-
might be a good place to obscure which way we went.
That it would be.
Yeah.
Make them think perhaps we never left the forest.
Yeah, I mean, if
Clearly,
they
we all
ate us,
died.
we all died.
Not a terrible idea. Is here we wish to cover our tracks once more?
Yeah.
Might as well spend 3 full days here.
Yeah, well, you're spending
Actually,
one
we
more.
could do it while we're resting, couldn't we?
The camp needs to be like moving, ready to move on. So it's
Oh, true.
yeah, you're basically prepping to move. It would take another day for you to really
That's-
set it up.
I'm
days.
But
fine
this would
with
be
that.
another day that you would be spending literally while the burning mammoths are still lost from the last place you concealed the tracks. So you're good to go. You got time.
We can only hope the frustration and casualties eventually cause the burning mammoths to question their chief's leadership.
Yeah.
How hard can it be to find these weaklings?
So I need survival or athletics.
Boop.
I'll assist.
Okay.
Athletics
Yeah.
first.
Nat 20.
Ooh, plus
That's a
you're
30.
an expert, right?
He is.
Is that plus 3 on the criticals?
I'm not an expert.
Oh, you're
Oh, plus 2 then.
Plus
It's a 29 total if you want to full.
I wasn't at 20, so I mean, you critically succeed to 8, so you
Yeah.
get plus 2.
Okay.
Oh, it's master when you get 3. It's on my GM screen, actually.
Okay. So
Handy
that's
tool that you're not
a
referencing.
13.
I didn't know it was there. I was like, I feel like there's basic actions.
It's somewhere on there.
That's going to be a 24.
With a 24, you would certainly be able, as you spent the last day readying your camp and kind of preparing to move, with your guidance, the group is able to obscure much of the evidence that you even emerged from the woods alive. The pendulum swingeth the opposite direction. Instead of leaving all of the funny memes in our wake, we're going to hide the fact that we even made it through the woods. Make them question if perhaps the burning mammoths were strong enough to survive a fate the Broken Tusks could not. Certainly a story they would be willing and able to believe. And preparing you for the following morning, for you to move on and the burning mammoths to finally start getting out of that freaking hex.
Good luck, idiots.
Honestly, like, you don't really get to plan this out because of the long distance between everything, but that was perfect.
It's
Yeah.
working
They
really
get
well.
stuck there for 3 days. We take 3 days resting and prepping.
Solid. Because you critically succeeded at that last one. So they
Yeah.
were like, and it was in the middle of the vale, and they're like, I don't know where to go. Northeast or southeast, friends?
Like southeast keeps us away from the ridges over here.
Yeah, sounds good. We can do southeast.
Okay.
And it's just more east, so.
East.
That day's journey does find that this pass here leading out of the northern vale is still somewhat narrow, revealing nothing but peaks that, while they are far from the mightiest of the region, are definitely something that would be too difficult to get the whole of the following and your herds through. But not by much. It seems to be the edge of these ranges here.
Then we can continue.
We'll just hug them.
Hug them.
Okay. One more day to the northeast,
Ridge huggers.
bringing you up around and seeing
easy
that this continues. Yes, again, this northern vale surprisingly easily passable, and much to your surprise, wider in size than the one that you'd passed through the south. You were kind of hugging thickets of forest and large foothills on either side, passing through a narrow aisle of easygoing footing. But here, well, the forest seemed to have been left behind you at this higher altitude, perhaps. There is just nothing. It's not that difficult at all. As the peaks to your east start to slope downward and they give way almost immediately into these flatter bits of ground, so too does the ground in front of you start to descend down into another huge sweeping vale beyond. One that from here you see nearly no trees growing throughout, even as the land does seem to slope down, swinging low once more. But what you can see is a great lake around to the east, and a fairly sizable river feeding it in the hex just to the northeast of you.
Well, that'll be great for the following. We can water the mammoths, get some more fresh water.
Maybe even catch fish.
Yeah, that'll be lovely.
Yeah.
I think I know where we're going.
Yeah, the following day leaves you really few options, honestly. I'm assuming you're
water.
going to go northeast, the way that is like really reasonable to go.
Yeah.
And now as we reveal a bit of this map here, you can see truly how close that you are to this lake. There is a massive sweeping lake that fills 3 hexes at least, billowing out in front of you as you come towards near the center of its shores. It spills out further to the east and extends down along the reaches towards the south, seeming to be fed by no fewer than 3 mighty streams coming down from much higher up in the mountains' peaks around you.
Okay.
Something tells me that water will be absolutely frigid.
Probably freezing, yes. But could be refreshing.
Are we moving down towards the lake then?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we? Or should we cross
Yeah,
the
you can
river
move down
first?
towards the lake. Moving
well,
across
yeah,
the
yeah.
lake would be a challenge, but you could move around it. And it looks like the vale sprawling out around this lake now is dozens, if not hundreds, of miles around. Now you have come out into where you can see the impassable peaks are a great distance in every direction. We don't need to reveal any map, but I would say you can see that if we're you to swing around this and head south following one of the big feeder rivers it has, you've got at least like 4 hexes in every direction before totally impassable mountains here. You have a great area. Now, notably, as you approach this, that evening, you would be met once more by Urgula with another rare moment of opportunity to talk to you guys literally at all.
Tosh, talk to adults.
Yeah, trying to deal with
Barely.
3 children that she's attempting to raise.
Oh, thank God.
You say this. I say this. Oh no, they are little blessings, all of them. The sparks that light the fire within my heart, but they are much.
They have very healthy lungs.
I could tell from the bags under your eyes that they are definitely very healthy.
And their voices carry across the entirety of the campsite.
I would not be surprised to learn that the burning mammoths can find our wake simply by their cries alone. They need no sight, they can just follow the screaming.
I would say the same thing. We'll be able to follow the screaming here in a couple days when they find that forest.
I heard a bit about what you had found within that woods a few days back. In all of the years that I was the head scout for our people, I had never encountered so many of these strange beings, these spirits. There are so many of them in the lands we do not walk.
Maybe that's why we don't walk them.
No one's been here. They've had time to move in.
But yeah, I wonder which is the way that it goes. If they
If not humans,
have some
something
dislike for our people, but the only I've had any opportunity to contact closely is Henry. And he is a strange fellow to be certain, but a very friendly one.
Well, the twigjacks and quicklings of the forest certainly could not coexist with any groups of people moving through their lands. One would have to drive the other away. They are spiteful, hateful creatures.
You never know. After their encounter with the burning mammoths, perhaps both will be refugees. They might work together.
Oh, you both sound like my mother. But no, I wanted to see you for a reason here. These rivers, this one we have camped by here, they are quite mighty. I know that we have done a good deal to conceal our tracks back at the edge of the forest, but certainly eventually the mammoths will find them again. They will see where we have gone. But, well, I taught you, hopefully decently well. I would like to believe that much of what I said did not fall on deaf ears.
Water hides tracks.
This river could be useful to us.
Very.
We need not use it necessarily right now, but getting the following to move across a river, in many cases, if we find a decent ford, it could perhaps even be easier than traveling over land.
If we find a decent ford.
If you find a decent fort. You're right. My time in the sun has passed. My time in the tent is now and for eternity, as feels.
Oh.
Not to worry. Once they're old enough to
I-
be watched by others, you could be on the trail again. You might actually find it a welcome rest.
Maybe.
As soon as
Maybe someday in the far future.
I think as soon as they're able to walk, they'll be outside of the tent, beyond bothering others anyways.
Perhaps as soon as they're weaned.
No, I look forward to the day.
And then all the trouble they'll get into.
These first months. Oh, these first months. Nothing Harik could ever have told me would have prepared me. Well, I don't think nothing she knew could have prepared me for 3.
It's okay. All of Otter House will support you.
Indeed, that's what otters do.
We have a good family, to be certain. But think about it as you move. As you find paths, look for a good spot. If you can find a reasonable fort, we'll not only hide our paths, but perhaps, if we find one good enough, I have taught you well, can even accelerate our travel.
Indeed.
If there is a third opportunity for concealing tracks, which is to simply ford the following across the river. This is basically impossible to follow. And it's not even, the tracks are a bonus, but organizing the Broken Tusks to move across the river, depending on where you find a ford, is going to be a bit of a difficult thing to engineer. If you find a great place, where you can travel some distance up or downstream, not only would you get the benefits of covering your tracks, you have supplies on the riverbed. You have obviously water, but you don't need to go far to hunt.
Yeah.
The game comes to the river.
We may be able to even lead some false trails here, and it would
If
be
you
pretty
find
easy.
some particularly good spots, you may even be able to travel multiple hexes in a single day. Although the opposite is also entirely possible. So, with that knowledge, the following morning, do we want to head down to the lake? Do we want to head across the river here? Much of what you'd be looking for is, well, the burning mammoths are a huge... Oh, we did move down towards the river. That's what we are doing. Okay.
Yeah.
Down to lake.
Okay, moving towards the lake, rather. As the group of you make your way down, I need everybody to roll me a stealth check.
This gonna be good.
Great noises to hear.
Clamp, 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 clamp. Got a 4.
9.
4.
25.
I'm glad someone's stealthy.
Critically failed.
Well, we're not doing that.
9 critically fails.
No, the 4 is both critically failed.
stamp,
You
yeah.
regular fail.
Stamp.
Well, I'm also wearing noisy armor.
Yes,
so
you
that
guys
doesn't
are
help.
not good at sneaking.
Got goat hooves.
I'm gonna critically fail too, because I got a 1. Oh wait, no, that's not a 1. That's a 7. Sorry, that on this die, the 1 and the 7 look remarkably similar.
7 has the liney bit at the top.
They do not
Bite
look
me.
like
Hope I
The
can-
one also has a liney bit. It's
I
just
guess
a
that's-
slightly
also-
different
That's fair.
angle.
It's smaller. It's a little more downward.
It's actually a 15.
15. Okay, 25. As you're making your way through here, you're always some degree of covered. You are not like just openly, you don't know what you're going to run into. It's not just necessarily the burning mammoths. It is a great many of the things throughout the realm are dangerous, be they fae, megafauna, whatever. You are always taking like some degree of efforts to conceal yourself a little bit. Some of you are just really bad at it, but you're always at least.
I shine too brightly to be concealed.
And Ozaj sings to himself.
I do a lot.
Most of the time, I'm just...
that's the trick. Couple people, obvious distractions. Couple people, relatively sneaky. I'm there for the people not paying attention who get then brained over the back of the head by a mallet.
Couldn't have been sneaky without all of you. Thank you.
As you come down towards the lake, the trees and the thickets do start to, of course, crop up almost like a frozen oasis around this massive lake, especially around the western shores. Wrapping around the north and the far side of the lake seeming to be a bit sandier and rockier without as large of growths. You would reach near the end of the tree line and break out not too far from the shore. And near the edge, as you got a view of the lake again, coming around some boulders, you and the party ahead of you would notice each other at about the same time. Rather, I say they would definitely notice some of you, and then the rest of you at about the same time.
Oh boy.
There is a campsite set up ahead. A couple of top tents pitched around a very small, covered little campsite. Precautions taken to prevent the smoke from billowing freely and obviously up into the air to give away their position. But as you look at the 5 figures down below and they look up at the 5 figures in the tree line, they are definitely burning mammoths.
Okay.
And they very quickly scramble to arms. Their beach episode rudely interrupted by the party
They're the
here.
heroes of their own story.
We'll see for
shame.
how much
And
longer.
we're the
story's
villains. And we're about to
It'd be a shame.
TK them.
Damn, now I feel
So-
bad. We ruined the beach episode.
You
Don't
guys, you will have scouting, I assume, while you're traveling. Somebody
Yeah.
is serving
Yeah, yeah,
scouting,
yeah.
so you definitely have that. Roll me some initiative, perception for initiative,
Am I
because the
allowed to
party
have
did
ray
not
shield?
succeed
Nice
to
job.
hide. Yeah, you do whatever your normal exploration
Okay.
abilities are. The stealth check is like
Okay.
separate from you all. You would not have your shield raised. You would definitely not have time to put your
Okay.
shield up,
That's fine.
because this is like we're in there.
Oh. Like you literally make eye contact. Go, oh.
Yeah, ooh.
Sponge guy.
It is a full sponge guard reaction. Hold on, let me grab a couple of things here. While you guys
I got a book.
roll
I got
that out.
I got my 2 things right here.
I'm not a thing. I'm a
Thing 1 and thing 2.
I love you.
Because we only have the Coral Book spell cards.
I have a humbling.
So I'm gonna use
Fight
Ye
started.
Olden Archives of Nethys.
Archive of.
Which got a website upgrade, and so actually loads quite quickly
It
now.
loads
It loads
much
nice.
faster now, and I'm very happy
Their
about
servers
it.
are not made of duct tape.
Because I go to like pull something up to use it in the combat, and it pulls up. So as you look at this, you're going to notice there are probably, I think, 3 different types of figures.
Yes.
Here are a
images.
pair.
This can just be both of those right there.
Here is a pair. And here is a single.
Is that-
Okay. You have 6 things on the map.
Is there 3 of one?
There is
I
2,
see
2,
2, 2, 2.
and then
Or
there's
2, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah, 2, 2, 1, 1.
I'll see 1. Here is another single then.
Oh, he
All right.
Right.
These
will
look
be-
kind of light.
Right.
These look A little chunkier.
I did some modifications.
I don't like that.
Right. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it.
That's Chunky Boy and then
Chunky Boy and then Sneaky Boy.
that. Yeah.
So, Verja. Initiative.
28.
Sorry, Ozash.
Oh, 20.
28 for Verja.
Yeah.
We're just going to bounce around a complete freaking random now. Amka,
23.
23. Hanwi,
15.
I don't know why my brain thought you were going to say 50. Like you said, which is why you said 50.
This is
That's-
not age fascist.
Well, that's how I like when somebody gets a comically high roll. I'm just like 50. Arm,
Also 15.
who wants to go first?
Me, please.
Okay, so we have a very spread little board here.
Yeah.
So I am gonna roll the 2 tokens that are orcs with javelins. Also 15.
Yeah.
Yay.
Nobody was ready for this. The 2 that is Changeling Exile from the Bestiary box, because unfortunately there's not a pawn collection for this one. You might have noticed I'd be picking random crap
Yeah.
constantly. Don't also be 15. No. Amka, what'd you get?
23.
25. A little bit above.
Gosh darn it.
And then we are going to have another large woman with one of these battle axes, and you see now that you recognize them, a couple of tallow bombs
Flirt
at her
time.
hip.
Looks oddly kitted the same as me.
Barbarian dating simulator is ready to go once more. What did you get? Oh, she got a 20.
I got a 20, yes.
She's gonna get an 18. And their leader, who is standing, he seems to be bearing what looks almost like a shortened staff, almost like a walking stick, and has a wide leather-headed drum on the ground next to him that he actually scoops up as he stands. And for simplicity, we'll say everyone's got time to just draw your weapons because
They're doing
it's
the same.
more interesting
Yeah.
that way. Yeah, it skips the first round of everyone pulling their weapons and not doing anything. Which this guy rises up
That's what quick draws for.
23. What Amka
23
get?
puts in between.
Between Amka and
25?
Ozash.
Me?
You got
No, I had a 15. I'm like way far
or
away.
Amka, sorry,
23.
23. Oh, also
I knew I should
23.
have took the Pilgrim's
I was
token.
about
Okay,
to
right in
say,
here.
I should have took the Pilgrim's token.
That's a big old initiative table right there. There's so many
very-
things. You know, and actually,
even.
that's true. Nobody's got their weapons out. You kind of just stumble into each other. Nobody's ready. Half of them are sitting down. Verger, you see this and you react the fastest. You're right. No one's got their weapons out.
No one's got their weapons out. Cool, I like that. Gives me extra time to cast a spell. And I went last.
Same.
What you doing?
Probably just holding.
You are yeah,
like-
a
What are we doing here?
little bit of a distance away from them.
They draw weapons.
These two that are further back kind of sat behind this little quenched covered campfire here. One of them scrambles into the tent next to her and rolls as much as tosses a small little stack of javelins over towards the other. Then is going to grab one herself, look out over the party that's coming, and just send one at Ozash, who is the closest, who is certainly like well beyond the effective range of a traditional javelin throw.
Had a long time to see it coming.
Yeah, but
Send
like,
it.
you know, 20s exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 to hit.
Ozash just sees it coming and just
Yeah, it's
zooms by
got a
it.
decent travel time. It's a little bit off target. The
big arc.
other one is going to pick up one of the javelins that is pushed over towards her and just take a similar, just wild throw out towards the tree line. This one's going to be heading out, I imagine, towards just Aram because he's kind of off on the flank a little bit there. I am good at rolling dice today. 22.
I'm guessing I don't have time to have my shield up.
Definitely do not have your shield out, much less up.
Then that's
No
going
one's
to
equipped
hit.
at the moment.
And this, two javelins come sailing into the tree line, one going a bit wide, one catching Arm for 8 points of piercing damage. What a champion of a throw. Wow.
Damn.
What a legend.
Like I said, they're the heroes of their own story.
These are the protagonists.
Did the javelin land into your thigh? Because I feel like it might have.
And pick up a second javelin, and she does. You
Blind luck.
you hear her call out, I told you they weren't that far. This is Drum Guy. Drum Guy is going to stand up, grabbing his little walking cane, and just kind of glare back toward her. It doesn't matter. They stop here and start to kind of hit his drum rhythmically.
Oh god, it's Boom Boy.
And he's less chanting, more almost kind of like throat singing out to the party. And as he starts to perform here, you see the rest of them veritably inspired by his projections as he bangs the drum.
First, he bangs the drum.
Kill the bard.
Kill the bard.
And he is going to move about 10 feet back, putting him just back like to the south, putting him just a little bit behind a large woman reaching for huge axe. And just tell me when you want to come in, Berja.
Immediately after this turn.
Okay, so Amka.
See,
There's a thing I'm waiting for.
Fair enough.
yeah.
That's fair.
Kill batter, come here. Seeing them immediately be aggressive, like, oh, there's no negotiations in this one. I'm gonna scramble, and as I'm scrambling, show them the light of Sister Cinder, or let them slip quietly and quickly to the Arbiter. Magic weapon. You know it, you love it.
Let's go.
I'm actually like gonna be behind him. I know where
The most reasonable
as
spot
far
to
away
be.
from the javelins that I could possibly be.
All right, Verja.
Do your thing, buddy.
Well,
They're a pretty decent distance.
I was considering holding on to this for later, but I think I'll go ahead and use it now. Burst of speed.
Oh, you can quicken and can
move
take a
trait.
move trait.
So I'm going to, let's see, 5, 10,
You can get to them
15,
with
20,
He's also fleet.
30. So I would need 2 actions to get up to the barbarian.
right. So you'd have 2 actions left because one of them is
Yeah.
burnt off from the card there.
And I'm going to draw my weapon and talking out to her. I've fought one like you before. Let's see how you handle this. And take a swing.
All right.
I'm raging.
Can't rage because 2 actions to move there, but
I know.
You can. You have 2 actions left.
draw
Just to draw a weapon.
Oh yeah, draw it out. You're right. You're right.
And that will be a 17.
7?
Because magic weapon.
Okay, I was like, it matters because that's his AC.
17, I'm already a +1.
17. As you bring this down, she's got some fairly thick hide spalders and almost just draping like a sheet across her body. This thick, sort of resilient armored cladding that's just enough for her as she's standing and scrambling for her axe to shoulder this blow. And it just gets a glance. It's gonna get a good chunk out of the leather, but it's not gonna do any damage. Ozosh.
I can't believe I actually get to use this. Well, I hope this works. He's gonna quickly reach into his bag and pull out that scroll fireball. And he's gonna use this, I hope this works, immediately use a magic item or cast a spell. Even if you can't cast it.
Yeeta.
So I didn't think we
So-
would get to use it.
Ever.
Pull out this fireball spell.
Oh my god.
You activate an item to cast a spell, period. And you fling a fireball out into the middle of this camp.
He just goes, and
Virgil runs in, and right behind him is a red beam. Virgil, make a reflex save, and I'm gonna make just a whole bunch of reflex saves.
my spell DC is
I passed.
16. Okay.
So
I
you'll
rolled
take
a
half.
15.
Okay.
You'll take half. Mook Clan 1. Your spell DC is 16,
16.
and
Yes.
it's reflex.
Yep.
I'll probably take about 10.
Mook Clan 1 are both going to regular fail. That's the 2 up in the front. Javelineers are both going to regular pass. So if you can just keep rolling the same thing, I make it very easy for me to keep track of. Bard is going to regular pass, and ex-barbarian is going to regular fail. Exactly
3 and 3.
50-50.
3 and 3.
Yeah, exactly right down the middle.
And now for the fun part.
Dice.
Fireball! The tower bombs ignite.
That's 18.
Oh, okay. I take 9.
18, the 2 in the front immediately killed in the explosion. Those 2 don't even have like an opportunity to react or to stand before this flame kind of washes over them. The force of it blasting them down prone and crumple and rolling them in crumpled heaps across the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Question. That's an immediately cast or cast like normal?
Why?
Like, does it take the actions?
It immediately ends his turn.
It
after he
immediately
hits
ends.
it.
Yeah.
So like that's his turn.
I was just like,
Pull out
Is,
and cast.
I've been holding on to that card for like
His big
almost 2
Yida.
sessions
Yeah.
now. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and use it now.
Both the
Might as
hunters
well.
are going to take half. The bard is going to take half. And the barbarian is taking all of it and is going to take a decent chunk of fire as well.
I did my jump as the scroll disintegrates in my hand.
But this barbarian shunts Verge's blow here, stands up, grabs her axe. What kind of tusks are you?
The
Not
best
the
day.
weak ones.
You think you can bear fire? You're not worthy of Sister Cinder's flame! And she seems to be getting very angry as she pulls this axe up and just goes for one.
I'm going to make her eat one of those tallow bombs on my next turn.
I highly disagree with that statement.
Big chop. 23.
That'll hit.
And you are going to take...
About 11.
I'm just really bad at rolling dice today. It's going to be 12. You're about 11. You're real close. 12 points of slashing damage, and grabbing her weapon, raging and chopping is all that she's got for right now. 13 because Inspire Courage is up. Aram.
Can Aram see the bard at all, or because elevation, I'm not sure where I am on elevation.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely got cover. I'm on my spell pages right now, but Verja, scroll burns up, a sliver is left over, must be your lucky day. Dark Hearts fueling you back up. That wasn't even your scroll.
It's money, man.
Warding sign. Quick draw a butterfly.
He's definitely gonna have cover at the far end of the camp, but you do see him.
Then I'm gonna take the easy prey down first. I'm going to mark the one who's nearest the tent on my right, as my prey. And
Okay.
then I'm going
So
to...
the axe girl, or just javelin here. Okay, fair enough.
Because they're the only ones who can really hurt us back here anyway. And then I'm going to quick draw. I'm going to pull and draw my bow all in one action.
Okay.
After marking her.
Other advantage, not like I really just have their weapons all the time. Taking a shot.
Quick draw is just a very nice.
That's a nat 20. Because apparently...
Deadly longbow.
Deadly longbow.
So total of 3d8.
No.
No, the
D8 plus
D8
D10.
plus D10.
D8.
Oh, it's deadly
Double.
D10.
Yeah.
I thought it was deadly D8.
Yeah.
So 2 D8 and D10, yeah.
Nice.
I need dice. I need another
Nice.
D8. Thank you.
I mean, or you can roll double the D8, but rolling more dice is fun.
It is. So 6, 12, 14.
Oh, she's dead. She's super dead. Big shot. Prey, dead. You got... Okay, and pray the next one. Hanwi.
Oh wow, this is going way quicker. Are the mammoths just getting weaker, or are we just getting better at this?
I think we're just getting better at
They were
this.
never strong to begin with.
Repetition's the best practice.
Light of the moon come into my hand and become a storm. And this light is actually going to be a bit more intense. Her tattoos blazing. This is a level 2 Horizon Thunder Sphere.
The ball
Cast-
just gets bigger.
Dare make a reflex save.
Cast 3. No, it's against AC.
All right, just hit
And I'm
somebody.
targeting the Raging Barbarian.
Okay. Oh, this is not the blasty one's the 6 action
blasty
one?
one's is the
Oh,
2
never
turns,
mind.
yeah.
Okay, we're good.
This is the hit.
If I try to do 2 turns, they'd all be dead before I got a chance to do anything.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, okay.
Oh, man.
She's raging?
I mean, I don't think a 12 is going to do it.
It is not, no.
Yeah. So she takes half damage because I charge it to 3 actions. So.
Fair enough.
So that's going to be, okay,
That's
10, 14, and 4, 18, 9 electric damage to her.
Pretty good.
That's a piece of thing.
That's
solid.
And as that kind of sails past, you see a bunch of the electricity peel off, even as the barbarian ducks under this blow, readying another swing towards Verja here. This one... What?
Skullface came out of the...
Oh.
They already know they're defeated.
I'm gonna make
They're-
better. I gotta
They
make
gave
better
up.
versions of these in the future. These fall apart. Yeah, double-sided tape would fix it, I suppose.
You
All
just
your
need
problems
to like
solved.
glue the ones that are going to remain in there.
Well, we can just double-sided tape it. We can make them better
We'll
later.
fix it later.
With her little spear in hand, she is going to rush forth, letting loose a battle cry to engage the one person who's come into range. They may not be strong, but they're not entirely stupid. They hunt together. She is going to run around Verja to his flank before attempting to let loose a couple of quick thrusts from her spear. The first of which, as you are flat-footed, an Ozash. Drum starts playing a tune you recognize. You start humming, "Burn, baby, burn." You feel awesome for recognizing the song. Dark Heart's got one for you, too.
Impossible shot.
You want to...
Do you have deny advantage yet?
Yes.
You are not flat-footed. Fair enough.
Thank you.
I get that at level 3.
That's what I thought you might.
Could come in handy.
Deny
Thank
advantage. Oh,
you.
it's this time. Oh.
Deny advantage.
I just get to run in and do whatever I want.
You absolutely do, and them being on either side of you is absolutely nothing you're not ready to deal with.
When that big mall's swinging around, you don't really get the advantage of flanking.
18
No.
for the spear thrust,
Even raging now.
followed by 19
That would have hit if I was raging.
for the spear thrust. Ooh, his wits about him. It's a 20 because Inspire Courage is up.
Then
The opposite.
Hey, but
We remember that.
They're not even worth his getting angry over.
He's not even mad.
Just disappointed.
Not mad yet.
Just
Yeah.
We're about
You
to
are going
get
to take
mad.
5 points of piercing damage. I remembered that time. And as she lands one of these, still beating the drum with one hand, this is throat singing, starts to undulate a bit, jumping between pitches, almost
I'm already
waving.
rolling the will save.
And you see a bit of a glow start to emanate from the surface of his drum, and almost little spectral wisps of energy float up out from the drum and into the axe of the barbarian standing in front of you as you see his weapon start to her weapon start to gleam as she readies for the second swing. He's going to cast magic weapon.
Very
I was about to say, pretty sure that's
But you
magic.
know what I can do better
It's a
than him?
support off.
You know what I could do better than him?
And
Move up to be within 30 feet of Verja. You're doing great, Verja. I want you to know, like, every time I see you fight, I'm very impressed. And Sister Cinder guides every strike and heals all your wounds so you don't bleed to death. Thank you.
I'd say 27.
Actually, I'm pointing the staff. No, I don't have the staff out.
Is second level or first level?
Second level.
So 2d8 plus 17.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you don't have the staff out.
I
So
don't have the
16.
staff out. I'll give you 20.
Okay.
that's still a good chunk of health.
That's what the plus 16 is there for. The insurance. And as Verge's wounds really start to pull closed here, the two of you, now the barbarian date has leveled up. We are both magic weaponing at each other.
Having healing is nice. I could take a +1 to hit and a little bit of damage, or I could have a healer. And,
Or both. Why not both?
Both is good.
Arcane Lestas.
We are going to get very angry.
Oh, here we go.
I did get hurt.
Barbarian o'clock.
And I'm literally fully ignoring the javelin. Like, not even crossing my mind as the much bigger and barbarianer person in front of me.
That's good, because that's my prey. That's a nat 20.
Oh my god.
This is going to be the fight
wow.
where we just
Okay.
bully people.
Oh no.
What do you need?
Oh no.
I have everything I need.
No, he's
Okay.
only two. He's not the pick anymore. So it's just
Yeah.
2d12s. It's just
So,
big old mollywop.
Oh, double twos.
And then doubled.
2s.
Well, doubled. At least it's a crit.
4, 8, 9, 9, 8, 17.
I mean, 17 points of damage is not the most exciting crit, but it's definitely just gonna
Every single one of his crits.
annihilate this
All
barbarian.
of my crits on the barbarian have been very weak.
17?
Yeah, 17 damage.
How do you do an odd number of damage?
It's
on a crit?
physically impossible to do an odd number of damage.
With magic.
No.
No.
No, you're right.
Probably 16. Because you
no.
rolled 4, you have 4 from strength, you have
Well,
2
you said
from rage,
9, so it's
18. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, equally dead.
Wasn't
Dude.
nearly as fun as the last.
Giant mallet just obliterates them. And you have an action left.
Just turn around and bonk.
Well, we were gonna try to kill the bard first, but
I mean, everyone
I don't
else
think
is,
that's good.
another 20.
She is also dead.
He is also.
She has 6 hit points.
That's another 2 and an 11, so 26 becomes a 36.
Yeah, she is 15. 15.
Did they call us losers?
15 is your maximum health. Please calm down, sir. She has 15. 15 is the total amount of hit points that she has.
Just
sir, this is a
slap.
Wendy's.
Sir, this is
I'm gonna look over at the bard and just gesture around me.
Ozosh.
What kind of burning?
Well, I'm just playing whack-a-mole.
You're absolutely just blapping burning
I
mammoths
just,
there.
I see this and I'm just like, Virgil, do you even need my help at this point?
Not so much. The fireball was enough.
At least help. I'll move 25 feet closer, and I'll just look at the remaining one. And as I'm slowly charging up a spell and looking at the bard, I'm saying, like, you could either surrender or we can end this stuff, the hard way. Easter Day, Ray of Frost.
All right, give me an attack roll.
Surrender before his turn comes back around.
That guy's gonna do stuff to you.
It's a 13.
You just kind of shoot a ray of frost. That's a warning shot. You shoot a ray of frost over his shoulder off in the tree line. Arum.
That's a warning. Yeah, exactly. That's a warning shot.
Arum is going to move around. Since the line is moving up, I'm going to move with it to try to take away his cover.
Okay. If you move like 30 feet down to the south, I'd say you got a clear shot at him.
Awesome. There you are. And you're my prey now. And fire one off on him. Pew pew. Get him. Can I have
She does this every single session.
That's
Once a
okay.
session.
She's very excited.
If it's
She might have to get her on the microphone. Need
That
help?
was just bad.
dude, you're a lot of lice. Like,
Other dimension.
Need assistance?
That's gonna be a 20.
Bigger
20 will hit.
bigger dice tray.
That's Hanwi?
It's
Maybe-
8 damage.
8. Ooh.
How's he looking?
Well, he's
Has damage
passed on the
on him.
fireball, and that's the first thing it's actually hit him. So as he takes that, he takes there and stumbles back a bit. He is not weak by any stretch. He's certainly still up. He's bloodied from the arrow, a little bit burnt. Still banging the drum, hate in his face.
Do you want to surrender?
Let's see. Hanwi is going to move up. If I move up 25, am I within intimidate range?
Probably, I'll give it to you.
Okay. She'll call down to him. The burning mammoths die like embers on the ground. Are you going to follow Ivarsa's foolish leadership and die with them? And that's an intimidate check. I'm going to demoralize.
Okay.
Would you like to stop?
24.
24.
big numbers help.
As he just continues hitting the drum with only further intensity as he continues. You pull your fire from paper. Sister Cinder does not bless you. She has forsaken you as you forsake us. And this hate and this venom in his words. Out of the drum here, you almost start to see little bits of spark, little embers fly from the leather atop it as he strikes it. And at the end of this insult here, Verja, make me a will save. This time, maybe a will save.
Oh boy. That's actually not terrible. 20.
20 will succeed. And as his words sort of coalesce, you catch fire. One side of you just igniting in flame up from maybe like your hip up to the front of your chest. Not much, but you can certainly feel this burning as he looks directly in your eyes. Still just hitting this drum.
Dumb question.
Dumb answer.
Bard. Is it not a misfortune?
No.
Okay.
Understandable that you would ask. A bard did something. That's
Yeah.
a reasonable question, but no. It's got 50 other traits, but none of them are that.
That's why I asked. It's a bard.
Auditory, mental, fear, visual, fire,
Yeah.
like
Words.
occult. Amka.
So just-
At the sound of him denying Sister Cinder's blessing to me, I'm going to shout out my words of truth, one action cast, as flames sprout out behind me, forming Sister Cinder's holy symbol above me, a woman wreathed in flame. She has not abandoned us. She guides our every step away from those who would hunt us like animals, your people.
And he just looks over towards you. I know not what heresy your magic can contrive, witch. But we follow a true war chief.
You follow a coward. And she's going to speak infernal and just produce flame. Glassa.
Ooh. Set him on fire.
I know. I'm not very good at setting things on fire.
Anga's mad. She's not effective. She's mad.
17.
He's frightened one. 17 will hit.
There you go.
Mad.
Value.
This is like the 50th exact lethal today.
Produce.
Plus ones matter, kids.
They do a lot.
You have Burford the Flamen.
6.
Aw.
But still, this fireball shoots out and hits him, and he kind of stumbles backwards, and the beat wavers for a moment on the drum as he catches his footing. Verja,
You look
So
little.
he's
pretty hurt.
not surrendering. very
Definitely
clearly.
not, no.
He lit you on fire
Yeah,
instead.
and he, instead of surrendering, did spooky stuff at me, and now I'm a little crispy.
Be on fire, yeah.
Just like persistent burning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you should put
So
yourself
I haven't
out.
taken any damage yet.
Yeah, I figured I'll step towards him and attempt to.
Remove several buns from his
Yeah,
body.
I guess I was thinking maybe go easy on him, but no, he set me on fire.
That's your. I like how
This is
that's your.
reasonable.
That's
This
your.
Here's my line. You set me on fire with your own hands. Like, we got a problem now.
You burned that bridge.
You would throw a punch, maybe.
bridge.
All right, that is a 15 on the die. It hits.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
2d12.
That is a 5.
And a
That is
one.
a 5 and a 1, so 11.
Okay.
Not down.
No, solid swing. And that drops him down like to one knee as he keeps trying to get the drum going here. Its surface now spattered with blood. But he just looks back up at you, clearly still readying another spell.
Well, after taking that swing at him and he's not going down, I'm just going to pull it back and attempt to non-lethally hit him with the head. Like gut shot.
All right. -7.
That is an 11, so that will be a 13.
13. As you hit that, he kind of rolls back with it. You trying not to obliterate him is enough to let him weather the hit here. Ozash.
Well, I'm going to use 2 actions to get directly behind him. And I'm going to bear hug him.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
Come here, boy.
Oof, that was a bad roll, too. 12.
12, no, as he's down. You have Verge's fire coming through, which burns you for 6, by the way.
That's what I was about to. Let's keeps going.
You reached out and tried to grab him. He just twists out of his grasp. You're getting a handful of his cloak and getting left with just that as he pulls away out of it entirely, still just standing there hitting the drum.
I'm
I don't actually know
tried.
the burn. 6 damage is all non-lethal. Or temp.
I was like, what?
What?
Non-lethal
All
fire.
temp.
Oh, it's not lethal if it doesn't kill you.
Arum, that's fair. Not wrong.
I've got a beat on him, Verge. Are we killing him or not?
Not sure.
I prefer to take him alive.
All right, and I'll stand down.
I might die here, but when you fall, we will see who Sister Cinder favors.
I was just gonna kind of bend down and stretch out into her snow leopard form.
Oh yeah.
Where's the cat?
No, come over here.
You're like, you got the 2 dolls and you're smashing them.
Exactly.
What are you for?
And I am speed 40, so I think I can get there in one move.
You can run all the way up. He's gonna take this hit from Verge, his hand slipping off of the drum as he just pulls it out and incants something down under his breath and puts a hand out, and as he does, this sort of black spiraling energy, almost like smoke, shoots up from his elbow out of his hand and fires out into Verge. I need a fortitude save, Mr. Barbarian.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
That's enough.
11 on the die. That's gonna be a 20. So-
20 regular succeeds. You're enfeebled 1 as this courses through you. And he sees his cat approaching and turns with his club and just takes a swing down towards the snow leopard that's
Hey.
rushing up towards him.
He's trying.
He rolled a 20, didn't he?
No, 25 total.
Oh, 25 total, normal hit.
He's trying his best. I
He's gonna bonk you for 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
Just
my temp HP.
kind of a swipe
Oh.
here.
This dude's real good at getting rid of temp HP.
I have
about
enough
nothing else.
We are on a divine mission because you failed yours.
So I see him sap the strength out of Virgil. That's
You can see that kind of smoke coalesce around him.
I have enough. 25 feet get me right up behind Virgil.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why? Stop. No.
Exactly.
Sister Cinder guides us. She heals our wounds and strengthens our allies. Restoration.
You no longer enfeebled 1. Verja.
There's an axe right there
Yes.
that he enchanted.
Yes. Your weapon is still magic.
Yes, but this is funny.
Okay. It is a one-handed battle axe. You can just
I don't
like.
take a penalty for using.
No, I mean, but like you, it's one-handed. You can shoulder your maul.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I'm gonna
like
pick
one
that up,
action to
and
shift
I'm
and grab.
just going to like trudging him with the flat of it.
Okay.
Taste your
Make
own
me
knife.
an attack roll. It's still a magic weapon, so you still get the +1. A non-lethal, I assume, so like -2, obviously, so -1 total.
I'm never going to use this, and this is situational. I want to re-roll that 5.
Good call.
2 of card.
To a card.
To a 2.
Even better.
The Lord just doesn't want it.
Too light. And regrip my weapon. And
Drop it.
take a swing.
This is big swing or non-lethal swing?
Still
-7.
trying to catch him.
-7.
3. He really doesn't want to be caught alive.
And you're
And then am I
in your
burning?
blind rage.
I'm no longer burning.
In your blind rage here, you are not really good at the holding back thing. That's decently hard for you.
Trying.
I think it's kind of funny that's even a thing that you can do while you're raging. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going well.
but yeah, I mean it's fitting. It's fitting the flavor how well that this is working.
It doesn't say you can't though.
How
Aram.
much do I burn for?
Oh, you burn
skipped me.
for.
You skipped Ozash.
Oh, I was not sorry. You burn for 6.
Okay. And
Well.
the fire does stop.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to bear hug him again.
Grab the man.
Grab of man.
You can visibly.
Oh yeah, he's definitely grabbed.
You can
that is
visibly see that I'm getting more and more angry. I'm not about to hold back again.
24.
24 will grab a hold of him now that the cloak is gone.
I just kind of hold him up and I'm like, okay, Vernisha, he should be all yours now. Have fun with it. And I'm just going to continue to keep a hold of him.
All right. Aram.
He's not.
Arm's gonna run down there. I've got 30 feet of movement.
Just smack him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's not going anywhere.
You're holding him back. We're all about to start
Probably
lethally
2
beating
moves
him.
to get all the way around there with 30-foot move speed. So you
It's made
get
a tomato.
It's fine.
you up in there.
Quick with Hanmi.
Quick draw my sword, bonk him with the back of it.
Throw your bow on the ground as you're running off.
So yeah, try to hit him with the back of my sword so that I don't kill him because it seems like we
Minus
want to take
dose.
him alive. Huh?
-2.
Yep.
For non-lethal.
Yeah.
Unless you're throwing hands.
Well, he's got to hit him someday, right? Like, we have now reached the just jump him portion of the program. where-
Okay,
Completely
that's a
surrounded.
20, so I'm thinking even with a minus
20 will
2,
hit,
it's gonna
yes.
hit him.
Yeah.
That's a 9 points of non-lethal damage.
Oh, with that strike there, the flat of his sword connecting, his skull snapping off to the side as Ozash feels him go limp.
I told you not to
his
make me
grip
come
there.
down there.
Hanmi
Okay.
gets the drum, starts batting it around the campsite.
That is the caddest thing I've ever seen you do.
You can bat around the bodies.
But with that, as the burning mammoths lay strewn across the camp here,
If anyone's got the rope, let's tie him up now.
I've got some rope.
There's
I'm
always
bad
rope.
with knots.
And
I'll tie him up.
after somebody's tying him up, Ozash is going to take his drum and just start ripping it to shreds.
that's rude. It's not hard. It's like a taut leather top. You can just punch through it and
That's
it's ruined.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
we
The
can't
casing
have
of it is mostly wood.
Ozash knows better.
We can't let him play anymore.
I am the only drummer now.
Can I smell anything in the camp that smells interesting while I have an imprecise scent?
As you're smelling around, there's definitely some cooked meat stored back in the tents, but otherwise, no. You can smell a bit of this kind of overwhelming odor from the tallow bombs, but it seems like there's 2 on the hip of the barbarian that you took down and no more throughout the camp. They just have some very basic camping supplies, nothing you wouldn't find back at your following's
well.
encampment.
2 more tallow bombs.
Pick up a piece of meat and turn back into Hanwi. Chew on
Oh,
it.
I never get to pet the kitty.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Let's clean this mess up.
So, not to sound bloodthirsty or anything, but why did we take him prisoner?
In case he has more information.
Information is always valuable. You should know
I
this.
Show him
think
how
he'll be
he's
more.
wrong.
I think he'll be more dangerous to bring back to the following than.
Oh, we're not bringing him back to the following. We're going to question him here, and if he doesn't have anything better to say,
don't think he's
Then
going to
what?
answer us.
Then we
Murder
kill
him in
him.
cold blood? Tie him up and leave him?
No.
It'll be weeks before the burning mammoth horde makes its way here.
Then we kill him.
I don't want
I
to
don't
kill
like
him.
that either.
I'd like to refrain from killing him, but
Whoa.
The choices of taking a captive is you take care of him
Well,
or you kill him.
maybe we can convert him to our way of thinking.
Definitely not.
Not
I
this
doubt
guy.
that.
Not this guy. If we can learn information, we can. But then
We will
I
figure
think the only honorable thing to do would be to offer him another duel. Perhaps he can go kill one of you, but one of us, but I don't think he'll win.
Well, I
We
really do think we should try to. Maybe if we introduce him to.
We should not bring him back to the
No.
following.
Absolutely
I mean,
No, I meant bring the other guy here.
it won't hold. We can't bring
I
him
don't
here.
think that'll
He's
work.
still too injured to move.
Even if he wasn't.
But
This was one of their song singers. If there was anyone who could inspire treachery and people who have recently converted, it's him. We can't risk it.
She's got the point.
I don't like the idea of killing somebody in cold blood.
I don't think we should. But
Just let him go then.
Definitely not.
Oh, wait for him to wake up and we'll talk to him then. Verja, help me with these bodies.
I'll help you. Verja, you sit there and rest. You still look a little hurt.
I'm fine.
A few dozen yards up from the shore of this lake, the surface of which is flat as glass, perfectly reflecting the sky above and the snow-capped peaks far out to the east. You again, while you're in a much wider vale now, seem to be surrounded on all sides by mountain tops that reach into the very sky itself. Looking around, having difficulty telling the difference between snow-capped crags and clouds hanging above. In some places, they seem to mesh together entirely. You have some wooded undergrowth around and behind you. You'd pass through. It thins out a bit in a clearing that leads all the way down to the lake here, where they'd made their camp.
Maybe he
But-
knows stuff about Barthen.
I mean, that's an idea.
While we wait for him to wake up, I'm going to just lay the bodies out as respectfully as possible because the more we do this, the more I'm not at ease with just murdering everybody we come across, even if they attack us first. It's starting to sit very uneasy with me. And I'm going to say prayers to them, to Sister Cinder, because they are obviously devout worshippers.
I'll join you. Arm's feeling pretty rotten about it too.
I will keep watch of our friend here, and if anyone needs any food or patching up, I got.
How's everyone look?
I mean,
A little injured.
I'm dinged up from the first shot.
Most- Mostly just
spell
caught fire,
Undid
yeah.
pretty much everything that they did.
You're a little burnt. You took a javelin, but otherwise...
while we're waiting
Very
for that
one-sided
to all
fight.
happen, I can patch you up. Or you're assisting, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you injured?
I'm absolutely fine.
You're fine? Yeah.
There's just the two of us.
I'll work on you if you're... Or are you moving people?
It's fine. I'll sit down.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have plenty of time to perform some medicine checks here to patch up the worst of the wounds, use some poultices to deal with the worst of Verge's burns, soothe some of his pain, perhaps, however much he may admit or may refuse to admit that it is there.
Getting burned does not feel good.
Probably no. I can tell you that one on account of the time that I had to go to the ER for my foot. Yeah,
I have touched a hot muffler before. I'm familiar.
yeah. I
thought you were
dumped
gonna say you
boiling
touched a
water
hot
all over my
muffin.
foot. It was a
There.
bad time.
Yeah.
Very bad time.
Any of that.
Wasn't a fan. But
I had to hand feed him for 3 days.
he had to take care of me.
No.
I was, my little foot hurt.
Your foot was like
Your
belonged
foot
in a
was-
medical textbook.
Yeah, dude, that was,
It was-
Your foot
horrible.
was
That
horrifying.
was
Like,
third-degree burn. Yeah.
We made homemade sushi, and he was just
This is a huge tangent. We
You're
can get
not
into it later.
I'll do it later.
But
story time.
as he tells the story,
See,
sings sings his song of caution about the dangers of fire and boiling water that you use to teach children to be safe around pots and not have the handle sticking out over the edge of the cooking rock.
Because that's what dead mammoths do.
You have plenty of time before this man wakes up on his own. But eventually, amongst the group of you here, as it seems you're not taking him back to your camp or anything, he would either through... Are you helping him or are you just waiting?
Eventually, I will help him wake back up. He'll wing him.
Aided or otherwise,
Some stinging nettles.
a little bit of your attention, he would wake back up, bound in this clearing. Why? Why bother?
Well,
We don't-
sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, unlike most of your kin, we know of mercy.
We have mercy. You are strong. I cannot deny that. The war chief will see that. Those of you among your following who have strength, who have purpose, they will be good stock. The rest will be purged in fire.
That is quite an interesting claim.
They're already getting better. Before it was kill every last one of us, and now they're willing to spare the strong.
We will not turn away those who would aid in the glorious visions of War Chief Ivarsa, greatest of all mammoth lords in these lands or any other.
What glorious visions. Burn everything and anyone who questions.
We will reclaim our fire that your ancestors took from us.
The fire that we don't have.
No, Amka. This is actually perfect. This is a Burning Mammoth song singer. We haven't heard their songs, and our songs have been separated for generations. This is an excellent opportunity to learn. We've met other mammoths on the way.
You think to
defeated
keep
them like
me as a
yours.
songbird to sing for you?
For the moment, you don't have a choice. But this is what you do. You are a song singer. Tell us, what do you know of Matuak? We know very precious little.
How do you even know of this name? He came to you. Mm-hmm. And you got the same kind of loop you'd had with the last guy.
Yeah.
Explain it.
Yeah.
Use word of truth as needed.
Matuak. He was a great mammoth lord, a hero and champion of the burning mammoths. When the demons came in great force, pouring from the world's scar, teeming with the black sin of the abyss, the smoke that coils around them and the tar that drips from their teeth. Matuak, the champion, headed west alone to recover our flame of salvation, to save not just our people, but the knights, the metal men of the east, those of Mendev, those to the south who could not fight for themselves, our own. We had to. Sidka took it from us. It was our only hope. But Sister Cinder provided. She sent to us a paragon of fire and wrath. And without War Chief Ivarsa, there may not be burning mammoths still standing, nor those of Mendev or of the south. And the demon tide may have consumed all.
How did she defeat them?
With blade and fire. She was a peerless warrior and an unstoppable mage. She fights on 10 fronts at once, spearheading every assault, battling from every place needed to support those who could not defend themselves, those weaker.
She sounds like an honorable and powerful warrior.
Indeed.
She leads with strength.
And
The
nothing else.
only reason we are still here.
But you admit that there are those among you who are too weak to fight. You would not kill them, would you?
We defend our own people. We defend those who fight alongside us.
And we defend
There is some
ours.
place for the weak. There is no place for you.
Why? We didn't steal the fire. Matuak took it from our ancestors
Your
and
Sidka
ran.
took it. She took it and left. She broke the tusk.
But we're not her.
You are her ancestors and her children, her descendants. You sing her songs and you fight for her banner. You keep it still.
We don't have it.
We don't have the flame.
We don't have the flame. How many times do we have to say this? We don't have the flame.
If I may, allow me to speak to him in his language. And he's going to start throw singing himself. And basically,
How we
because I
lost the
believe it's
flame.
actually a song singer ability that I have. Let me look up the name of it.
Oh,
real
you
quick.
can make an impression with
Impressive performance. Yeah,
Okay, maybe a performance check.
yeah. Yep, it's literally called impressive performance.
Checking her teeth for tar.
It's almost
16.
16.
It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Here's my
As
song.
he listens, just kind of grits his teeth. I see why they taught you to wield blade and magic. Even your song singers have weak throats. Every part of the Broken Tusk is useless.
Well, in that case,
Then why are you trying to recruit us?
Recruit you.
You just said we'd be welcome for being strong.
Would be
War Chief Ivarsa may see your value as there is honor and strength.
I'm so confused.
I would have you all burnt.
Oh, okay. Well, at least
Wait.
that's clear.
If you would have us all burned, why have you not burnt yourself for being a weakling?
Insults of a child. Unsurprising.
Those are your words.
I don't-
Turned back on you.
So,
I don't understand any of this.
Thank you for the song of Matuak and the song of Ivarsa. It's good to know about them.
take them back to your people. Learn. Tell them that those strong among you may still have a home with your people.
The mammoths have tried to exterminate us for months now, and have done nothing but lose more good warriors, men and women, who lie decorating the valley in our wake. You are larger than us still yet, but at this rate, not forever. Peace is the only option here. Perhaps Ivarsa shall see that.
You have run for months. Your following is hungry. They are tired.
Not really.
They wonder when things will come to an end, when they can return to their lands, their songs, their celebrations, their rituals.
We're actually having a really good time at the river.
They wonder at the end of the spring as the summer comes, if this passes into winter, still will we run? Does the world end? Is there eventually just an endless water against which you will be crushed?
Does your following not feel the same about an endless chase?
The chase will end. The world will not expand forever. Eventually you will find yourselves at a wrong turn, at a mountain, at a pass, at a sea. You will have nowhere further to run. And you will see the might of the burning mammoths.
And you would murder women and children who do not wish to fight? You would
Those...
murder elderly?
You
and
bring
infirm?
this from the same tribe that did the same to us. That
is
left
then.
all.
And this is now. I know not of them, but I know of now. You speak of murdering.
We
Answer.
would burn every last tusk to ash.
Against Sister Cinder's will.
Sister Cinder guides us.
Sister Cinder scowls on those who would murder the weak and those who wish not to fight.
To murder betrayers and liars. Her code is honor.
And we follow that honor.
But we also bear the sin of our ancestors. It's something which must be sorted out. If Sitka did steal the flame, and it was not willfully given over to her protection, as our songs say, then there is a wrong here that needs to be righted.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong, but if my brother commits a crime, I'm not held responsible for it.
You cannot have both the honor of your family and then cast aside their dishonor when it doesn't suit you.
I don't have the honor of my
People
family. I
can
have my
run
own.
until your
Where-
legs have burnt away into stumps.
But then the idea is, would Matuak take the flame after he retrieved it?
I
That
don't
is what we
know.
look to find.
After
And
he
perhaps
stole it away from the
He
guardian.
would have brought it back to us.
And did he?
No.
Then
You kept the flame from him. He must have failed.
you think
No,
the weakened
he
tusks
succeeded.
could hold it? No. Our songs
be
do not
so
mention him. Without talking to the spirit, we never would have known he existed. But we follow his path now. Perhaps the flame lies at the end of it, and perhaps with the return of it, we may have some peace.
How can we be so weak, yet any and all who would come before us die? All the stories, all the encounters. How is it we always slay these great people?
We are called
Men
weak.
are excellent at lying to themselves.
We are called weak because our ancestors ran from a fight.
Mm-hmm. We
Whether
bear
to-
their shame, whether we
whether
are
to-
or not.
Whether to preserve themselves, to preserve some sort of song, because they are afraid of all of us wiped out at the world scar.
Look, I'm not saying I agree with what our ancestors did. I personally would have stayed and fought to the end like you. But I wasn't there. And I can't change the past. And I'm not lying to you. We don't have the flame. And I don't want to kill you either. I don't
Then
even...
give up your chase. The war chief's champion was right. You flee to the east, seeking some pass within these mountains.
You mean
away
Python?
through the tusks. Even if you can find one.
You mean the idiot who we kept alive through 18 summers? The idiot who grew up with us? Who rolled around naked with us in the mud?
Your
That's
hollow
your
words are
champion?
meaningless. If you have nothing, kill me.
No.
We are better than that.
You
And
have been
Helpful.
for
cut
us.
you free.
And you are children. He spits out towards Hanwi.
You are the child who spits in frustration. Come
You
now.
have bound me or I would do more.
Remember, you're a song singer of your tribe. Have some honor in that. You've earned some honor from your words. What do you want? How shall we repay you for your honor and your telling of your stories?
Release me or end me.
Release him.
We're going to release you.
Go. If you're skilled enough,
Yeah.
you'll make it back.
I'll
You'll make it
untie
back.
him.
If you wish
Stands
to
up,
stand here and die, you may fight us again.
looks and see his drum punched through and broken in half. Picks up his club, the barbarian's axe off the ground.
You'll find your following that way.
I know where they go. He will just leave
My
into the
sister
tree
Cinder
line if
guide
you
your
will let
trail.
him.
I have no qualms with letting him leave. He won't
I-
make it through the forest.
I won't doom my soul for
we
his.
will let the
I forgot about the
we will let
forest.
the elements
I
take
didn't.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I kind of did.
Probably
dirty my
be
hands.
fine.
He will not make it to the
Intelligence,
trees.
Short-term memory.
He will explode 10 feet away from the trees and not know why.
But no, we must come to terms with this. If Sitka indeed did steal the flame,
He did a
Even-
wrong to those people.
indeed, and it's up to us to make it right now.
But if they claim that we have the flame and there's nothing to give them, we cannot prove it. We have to continue until we can find a definite way of
And we
defending
will.
ourselves.
Right.
They'll tell the story that we're running, and they'll eventually have us cornered. That hope will keep them going for some time while they're dead pile high from traps and hazards. They don't know these paths any more than we do.
But till then, we should probably gather what we can and relay the information to the.
No,
We will run circles around them. They'll never catch us.
I'm not worried about it.
We will bleed them till they surrender or give in.
Or at least until they'll be willing to talk. Perhaps we'll find the flame. Perhaps it can be mended.
We'll cross the river and we'll hide our tracks and lead them a merry chase.
There's only so many directions we could go. They'll find it eventually, but it'll
By
take
then
them
we'll
some
have the
time.
flame.
Perhaps so.
Well, in that case, we should post haste.
This clearing here is large enough to be a decent place for the Broken Tusks to settle for the evening.
It's also partially set up already.
Yeah, it's
How nice!
it's not far from the lake. It is a beautiful view across this massive vale sequestered deep within the Tusk Mountains.
And there's
Scouting
already
the water
cooked
for
meat.
kelpies.
You spend some time ensuring that there's no horrible water fay immediately nearby, but don't see anything. Okay.
I don't know, do my teeth drip tar?
No, just breakfast.
Those are probably the herbs. Okay.
You said they had cooked meat in there, right?
A little bit less now, but yeah.
The following morning, our adventures would continue yet further on a map that will surely be put in front of us by our technical assistant who's paying attention. And as we ready ourselves now at the shore of the lake, Where is it that we are headed?
Well,
We could follow the shores north or south.
We wanna
Crossing
find
the lake is all but impossible.
we want to find a place to ford the river, so we're gonna go scout a place to do that.
We saw a tributary to the south, right?
You did indeed.
Perhaps we should follow this
South
narrow
sounds-
bank
yeah.
here, and then we could find a tributary.
Sure.
A day's journey down along the shores of the lake. A body of water so monumental that this whole day of travel is within eye's view of its shores would lead you to one of the inlets, one of the several rivers that feed this massive body of water rolling down from some hefty hills to the south. I don't know if they just like forgot to color those tiles, because those are definitely hill tiles. They're just green hill tiles instead of like tan hill tiles. It's not like super
details.
visible on the map. The one immediately south of you at this point is a hill tile.
Okay.
Though you can loop around the southern bank of the lake, ford that river, and head out to the east.
Can we do that? Check for a ford in the river, and also
You sure can.
let's do it.
So fording a river is going to be nature, survival,
Nature, you
or
say?
river lore, which is probably a skill anyone's ever taken before.
Hanwei
can
and
lure anything.
Anka
I know, but like,
team up over here.
You
We
go.
got this.
You
Who's
go,
Aiden?
girls.
You want
wanna-
to lead ISIS?
Sure.
all right, go ahead and assist.
I'll
Amka?
assist.
Hold on.
I don't make it worse.
You want to reroll that?
Doesn't get worse.
It doesn't get worse. It's a total of 18.
Total of an 18. Okay.
Hanwei?
that's not hurting.
Four.
Total of 15.
19.
19 will succeed.
Yay.
This seems like a perfectly tenable place for you to ford across the river here. And as you spend a day, basically, what are you doing?
Charging the dice.
Migrating your following along the south shore and moving them across a couple miles up from the. Is it the mouth of the river where it touches the lake, or is that
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, that's
butt
mouth.
of the river? Okay.
It's
Because
called
the
the
water
mouth.
flows into the lake.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
that's true.
it's a
So
mouth.
around further in from the mouth, where there are not terribly far inland,
I
some
don't think
decent
butt of a river
shallows.
is actually
The dumpy of the
geographic-
river.
Look, you don't know that. You live in the mountains. Shut up.
Cake of the river.
The butt.
The trunk. Well, you would not move to another hex. You would certainly make it unclear whether you had headed up into the foothills along the river or simply crossed it and headed east immediately. The following day, you've got one hex you could go to southeast,
We're going to go east.
or there is one sort of rough bit of rolling hills. This one to the northeast of you is one of the only hill tiles on all of this map that is alone. It's not leading up into huge peaks. It is just kind of broken, rocky ground in the center of this big vale.
That might be a nice place to try to mislead them.
I think we've already misled them plenty with the river.
Mislead them more. Every tile will be.
We'll just do backflips just throughout this entire vale.
Walk
we'll
backwards.
put-
They'll get confused and go the wrong direction.
Exactly.
We'll take a footprint and we'll turn it backwards and put it on the bottom of our shoes. So while we're walking, it looks like we're walking the other way.
Brilliant.
I really hate you.
Where are we going?
Is that a good idea?
Southeast.
Southeast.
Southeast, one day's travel reveals another fine set of easy-going clearings, north or southeast. Now, at this point, you're starting to get closer to some a bit more thicker forests at the very far end of this massive vale that are to the south and visibly about further out to the east and northeast of you.
East is where we want to go. So
Southeast.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And one more journey down to the southeast puts you sort of between a few sets of these forest thickets. The trail continuing out ahead, looking like it once more begins to drop down into a narrower canyon further forward.
Well, since there are fan forests, I vote for not going in there.
Probably a
Perhaps
good
we
bet.
should
All
scout the
forests
area.
contain Fae.
I mean,
All water contains Fae and all forests contain Fae. We're never going in any water or forests. So we're going around.
With the
Plains it
force
is.
surrounding us, we could. Well, it's a clear shot.
Yeah, it's a clear
let's
shot.
just
Just
keep
keep
going.
going.
just keep on.
All right, just keep traveling yet further forward. As the land starts to drop away from you,
It's gotta be.
somewhere around now, a huge horde of burning mammoths are working their way into some woods.
Oh dear.
Oh no!
Can we get a cutaway?
Meanwhile, in the Feywood,
Because I want to hear like how
Overlay.
back at the Broken Tusks,
Cooking some
See
eggs.
somebody with little acorns hanging off of them.
Doesn't Sirenscape have a Wilhelm screen? I don't think we have it set up because I never thought there'd be a good opportunity for it.
It should.
But
It should.
Sirenscape definitely has the Wilhelm scream in there. By the way, Sirenscape, another one of our partners here that hasn't gotten a lot of chance to shine today. They're pretty good at the lake encounter there. They really come through in these combats, I think, building the scene a lot. Adding all of this background ambiance, this music, setting the mood, really as much as the visuals and the story itself does. It adds so much more than you think it would. I highly recommend trying it. They got a bunch of free sample stuff you can play with.
So I said 2 days. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Those Fae are so pent up.
They don't know time. You're assuming that they know what a day is.
Conception of
This
time.
is true.
I mean, the sun goes through the skies. They have
Yeah,
like
but-
something.
They have some conception, I would
A
think.
day to them could be like 2
From
days long.
here, the ground starts to become fickle. It becomes difficult. Continuing this journey to the southeast is going to lead you into some difficult outlying mountains and hills around these southern peaks. But the
Forest it is.
alternative is to move into the forests to the north or the south.
I think we should probably reconnoiter the area.
Yeah, let's reconnoiter first.
Reckon water.
That's
All
a
right.
fun word.
Who wants to aid? Who wants to lead?
What is it? For
It's
the checks?
perception or survival.
I'll do survival assist.
I'll do survival lead.
Hey-ya. Does not make it worse.
It's always the goal we aim for with an aid action.
Yes.
Not making it worse.
We're not helping.
To be fair, I have to roll a 1 to make it worse.
That's
So,
well, you didn't roll a 1.
That's going to be 16.
With a 16, spending a day here to scout and try to find what might be the best way forward or anything of interest in the area. This region seems clear. You don't find anything interesting in this clearing between the forests. Nothing looks immediately suspicious about the forest to either side, nor the foothills. But these foothills do seem to kind of wrap around this northern wood, giving you a bit of a bypass were you to commit to moving through them. But the going seems like it will be slow.
Yeah, for the kids and the... I think we should at least try the forest.
You want to cut through the forest?
if it gets us a shortcut around the hills, it's worth it.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
We should proceed.
I mean,
with
worst comes to
caution.
worst, we can back off into the hills. It's not cutting us off.
That's true.
So, northeast of the woods then?
Looks like
Yep.
it.
2 days of journey into the tree line here puts the burning mammoths squarely in a horrible, horrible place.
How old?
We can only imagine the wonderful experiences
mean
that they're
entertaining?
having
A
I'm
little
sorry.
slice of Galarian.
back
Their
in the
song singer might
Feywoods.
make it back to them just in time for the last remaining of them to get out. And
Allow me to tell you about the Great Forest Fey War.
it's like, oh, wait a minute.
So,
The burning-
mechanically-
the Broken Tusks told me this would happen in not so many words.
Mechanically, what, like, does this benefit us at all? Does it slow them down? Or is it
Well-
just funny?
Both.
We'll see when they move again.
Let's just go with
days
both.
later.
Nothing but Wilhelm's.
As you make it into the woods here, you can see this forest is decently expansive, continuing all around you up to the north in seemingly every direction, while these massive rolling hills to the southeast start to become more and more sheer. They are pocketed with, visible even from here and up above you, thin and narrow, jagged canyons, crevasses, strange passes,
Glad we
pockmarked
didn't
with
go that
all
way.
sorts of caverns and caves winding through them. It looks interesting, and maybe somewhere amongst that mess is a pass for the following, but not one that you easily see from here in your day's journey.
If we can't find the pass, I guess we could just keep
Yeah,
cutting
keep going through the forest.
It's probably fine. Although we should probably scout the area around the next
I
hex we go
agree.
into.
Yeah.
Northeast once more.
Northeast
Yeah.
once more.
2 more days. Burning mammoths are just vibing. They're there forever now. This is their life.
They're back
I was
there
going to
just
say
doing the
they
hat
chose
and time
this, but
dance.
they absolutely did not choose this. We chose this for them.
chose this.
You chose this, and I'm sure you're all very, very happy with your decisions.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
They are not. They're having a grand old time with a whole lot of quicklings and twigjacks. But from here, as you come up to where the peaks very sort of abruptly become impassable ahead of you, you see out to the east one single vale. It looks to be no more than a few dozen yards across. It looks passable.
Found it on the first guess.
And it winds its way in a sheer walled canyon further east, switchbacking out of sight. The foothills ahead of you rise up for what would certainly be another few days' journey, but this looks almost like a cleft in the world, as if a god themselves had dropped a blade into the mountains and cracked them in two. This pass visible
Maybe they did.
up above you, even from a few days out.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Scouting?
Sounds like a goal.
Yep. I was about to say I would definitely scout first.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to scout here.
Yeah, we're gonna
We're
scout.
getting close.
Scouting around here would need no. We would really need to. Yeah, scouting around here would need no check for you to spend the better part of an afternoon ensuring that there is in fact a path through these foothills up to this craggy pass overhead.
Also,
but
no loose rocks.
it is going to be a few days of a very arduous, very uphill journey. As the back end of this vale has worked its way up into these steps and these hills, this canyon above is past the snow line. You are now hitting the ultimate altitude where the snows have not even begun to thaw, even as months of spring have rolled by and summer approaches. The snows never melt in this pass up above, and it's barely wide enough for mammoths to be led through singly in places that you can see, but it is passable, and it is, at its base, largely flat.
Then I guess we will approach with caution and
Tally-ho.
Tally ho.
A few
As the
days,
Taldans would say.
Good chums.
a
I don't know what
few
this tally ho is.
days of journeying later, your following is camped outside the pass itself. You see that it is a nexus where this looks like it is a crack blasted through the mountains. Several other smaller passes and canyons jut off it at errant angles, looking even more like a hammer had blown something free from the stone. But many of these passes are choked off by piles of rubble and loose stone, massive, intimidating snowpacks that are near impossible to pass even as a small group. The area itself has so many random angular juts up through the walls. There are a litany of ledges about 10 to 15 feet above the floor of the pass, overlooking the passageway where any number of nests or worse, ambushes could be lying in wait. You can see and hear, even from this distance, the low, continuous roar. And see down this pass the edges of the spray from a massive waterfall. Its stream mighty enough to keep it from freezing as it pours down off the backside of a mountain further down this craggy pass.
Pretty.
As you set up the camp through this evening, you occasionally hear peals of thunder, cracks of stone echoing out from this pass, not continuously, but every third hour, one of these thunderous noises emanates forth.
Does that sound like an avalanche waiting to happen, or?
Maybe you live here, you don't need a nature check. It absolutely is the sound of like inconceivably huge masses of ice and snow settling upon each other, clinging to the peaks and the sides of this canyon.
Perhaps once we get through, we could collapse it.
Right, let's get through quietly first.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you approach this that night at the camp, several of the mammoth lords would be near the center, stood around to remain fire. And as they spoke amongst themselves, not whispering, not hiding anything, you'd see the group of you around, and Murthig, as he loves to do, using his one existing arm to wave the group of you over. Aye, Otter Scouts,
Yes.
you have a moment for us.
Of course.
Yes.
So, we've been studying the maps that we've made back from Red Cat Cave, everything that we saw back in, that strange little mix up on the ceiling. And Wotan nods. We have had much time in our weeks and months of travel to learn as much as we can about the paths before us. Many of the landmarks that we have come by, they fit, they make sense in hindsight. We knew not these passes before, but we do now. Several of these emblems from the ceiling, these crags, these woods, even. It lines up. And Harik, with her hands up, a smile on her face. The map has not led us astray so far. Every bit of this has been accurate to the journey of the day, to the pass, to the peak and the bend of these ancient vales. If this is the ethgir, this is the path of our ancestors, where our lands used to command. That, ahead of us, is Crag.
Crag.
It is a title that I myself barely remember, and one perhaps I had not even seen fit to pass on yet to you, Ozash.
I've heard rumors, but I'm not familiar.
It is an old story, and one that I was not sure was still worth telling or remembering. Crag Pass. This is what the map meant. This is what was left for us in Red Cat Cave. This is what Grandfather Sven wanted us to find. How he guides us with the sun from on high, leading our journeys, these paths through forests, through hills, through valleys, is for this. This. And beyond Lost Mammoth Valley.
I swear I've heard his voice.
As have we all in these past days, walking with us, his footsteps alongside us, his hand on our shoulder. He is with us every bit of this journey, as much as any one of us here. And Wotan nods. Indeed. We have found it. Or rather, you have found it.
Good.
At last.
We did it.
And Murthig puts up a hand. Well, this is all great, obviously. Fantastic news, well and truly for all of us. This, well, be at the end of our journey or the start of a new one. Frankly, the pass is dangerous. I can see it from here. Oh, you can hear it, each and every one of you, I'm sure. The snow is thunder. They're unsettled and uneasy. We're coming at an interesting time. It's near the onset of summer, near the height of the heat. I doubt any of these snows have ever melted proper, but it's the time they get the closest to it. They're feeding that waterfall, I imagine. What does melt and runs down is enough to pile up into something that mighty. That's certainly enough to cause problems.
We'll have to be very careful if we proceed.
And we'll have to be close. I don't think we've the luxury of moving how we have for the last few months. Of the following, packing up, tracking miles behind and beyond, waiting for all of you to find us a fair place to camp for the evening.
We need to book it.
I think we all need to move.
Yes.
You'll still, of course, forge the way, ensure the pass is safe.
Yes.
If Sister Cinder's willing, it'll be easy. But if something does run afoul, you'll find it, but we won't be far behind. And Wotan again nods. I think perhaps a few 100 yards at most. We'll give you breathable space, give you a place to work, but I know not how this pass will wind. I think perhaps even being so far as to be fully out of sight may be unwise.
Yeah.
If something should happen, we would not want our following divided. And we should certainly minimize the amount of time that we are exposing ourselves to the dangers.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Book 2, A Following Divided.
Rest well this night, for your skills will be needed more than they ever have been tomorrow. And hopefully, as the Firekeeper says, Sister Cinder will not see fit to test them. And, Nocta.
We'll pray.
Parthen.
What about him?
He was brought up with the same teachings as the group of you. His skills of scouting and charting the land are no different. He certainly had access to far more resources. We know not what the burning mammoths know. But we do know he passed some of these vales ahead of us, thanks to a cow, which I definitely didn't forget.
The name you've been treating.
Yeah, I've been with him. I obviously know his name. I was just testing you. If Macau is to be believed, then I see no reason to not. It is not impossible that Parthen passed through this same pass. We have seen no better place in our journeys to spring a true ambush. He would read this the same as we. We cannot separate. This would be an opportunity for the mammoths to ambush the whole of our following, and they need not do it with blades and fire.
Just snow.
Should then we perhaps range further ahead to try to find him, scout out this ambush?
I think you should forge perhaps a bend or two of this pass ahead of us. Breathable distance, half a mile maybe, to ensure that should something fall foul, you can handle it as you have so many problems in these past few months. And at worst, it does not claim us all.
I agree.
Yes.
And Harik nodding. Her words may seem almost callous, but they are wise and pragmatic.
They're not callous. We were trained by the best. Scouts take the risk so that the following doesn't have to. That's what a family does for each other.
We cannot leave a great gap. We cannot risk something happening, whether it be machinations of the mammoths or the workings of nature that trap us here. We have spent near a week following a narrow path through the woods here. If we have to forge ahead alone and without our scouts, we have hunters, we have others. This may be what the horde needs to fall upon us. And if we are going to pass Rime Crag, we will commit body and soul to this passage. But Nocta is wise. Not foolishly. Lotan nods. Fair?
Yes.
A half mile then, I suppose. A bit more of a journey, a bit more of a safe path.
It would make me feel better as well. We would be
Yes.
able to be more cautious.
And deal with any threats.
Exactly.
Aye, that seems like it would be wise.
The more prepared, the better. That is
We're
for
agreed then. You'll strike out in the morning as you have so many times before, and we'll pack up and follow just behind. We'll be out of sight, but not by much. If it seems impassable, or something runs foul, don't hesitate to fall back to us. We know not what the northern forests hold. There may be another way.
And we'll set up a signal if something should go afoul and we think there's true danger.
Aye. You've tenders. And this pass here, even the smoke of a small fire would be visible, especially
Yes.
at our short distances. Perhaps even of a few torches.
Yeah, we could always burn off one of these bags if we really needed a quick signal.
Aye, that could be wise. You could use one of those tallow sacks, perhaps a few as a signal if necessary. But
Yes.
if we have to turn back, my love, this was Grandfather Sven's plan all along. He has guided us this far. We will not have to turn back.
perhaps different signals.
No, I think the bags are fine. We will not need them. Sister Cinder watches us and Sven guides our steps. Ready yourselves. This morning, you will lead all of the Tusks to the promised lands of Lost Mammoth Valley, the ancient ethgir, the halls of our ancestors, of Sitka and her father and his mother.
Well, in that case, brothers and sisters, I would like to invite you to join me for some stew and some tales and songs before our long journey ahead of us in case we may not return.
We'll make it. We'll all do it.
Well, either way, I'm still making the stew. So,
One possible last evening around the campfire before we find what Grandfather Sven, what Grumbach, what Red Cat Cave has been leading us to this whole time. And next week, at the finale of Season 2 of The Hook, the end of Broken Tusk Moon, we'll all see what it holds.
We're just gonna get through the valley.
We'll walk
Easy.
through the valley. It's gonna be very few
gonna be
sessions.
really
Walk through the valley, and it's
And
gonna
just
be
come
great.
out the other side. I mean, it's gonna be fine. I don't know what you're panicking about.
That's works.
Join us next week to find out. Next week, not only for the last episode of The Hook here, our last episode of this run on the Paizo channel for now. And hopefully, here in the coming weeks, we'll see you all over an undeniably good time. Two Perception's going to be evolving. There's nothing there at the moment, but if you want to check out twitch.tv/UGT show, the Undeniably Good Time show, that's where more of our adventures are going to be proceeding. We're going to combine into more than just Two Perception. We're going to have a massively larger group with more shows, and we are starting with Age of Ashes. Or should I say, ending
Dem Nelodoshki.
Age of Ashes. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See you next week.